Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.
Post-game show with Seth Joyner.
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn.
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney.
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
And Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post-game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
$126.5 hours until Super Bowl 57. What's up, everybody? Let's start off today's sports take. And hi, everybody. Great to be with you. Thanks for hanging out. Let's pay homage to Derek Gunn's hat. That is a sweet lid.
You like
Strong,
that?
strong lid,
like
bro.
that?
Strong.
I enjoy it.
It's a special week, and I got to bring out my special gear, man. I got this bad boy at an incredible hat store in Orlando last February when we were out there for Disney World, my wife and my grandkids and my son-in-law and daughter. And then when they left, my wife and I spent a few extra days shopping around. Went to a great mall in the Phoenix area, beautiful mall, just packed with people in February. And came across this hat store in which she wanted to go. I said, okay. So she was looking at hats, and it was a men's, women's hat store. And I'm looking at the prices. I'm like, oh my goodness. So she goes, oh, I love this one. I'm going to buy it for her. I said, okay, Then after she bought it, I said, what'd you pay for it? I said, oh, Lord. Woo. But see, I know B. Brooks got to have like, 6, 7, 8 of these, something like that.
Bro, those hats are worth their weight in gold, man.
Yes.
I mean, they're well worth it. And she has class, so she hooks you up.
She did.
She hooks you up,
man.
bro. You know what I'm saying?
Every time I went to people are like, where'd you get this from? And I can't think of the name of the store, but it's a well-known mall in the Phoenix area that's flooded, just flooded with people daily, and great eateries.
Wait, in Phoenix?
I'm sorry, Orlando.
Okay, because I was going to say,
Orlando.
we might have people who are in the Phoenix area who might want to hit it up. Okay,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Orlando.
Okay.
My bad.
Okay.
My bad. Glad you corrected me.
There you go. But I love it. It's got a little rocky thing to it too. I like it, man.
Yo, Adrian.
That's a good one. Get you in the art museum steps after the show. We will take care of that. But yeah, so we're getting close, guys. We're getting there. We're 5 days out now. Close. Admittedly, I'm starting to have some problems.
No. We went through this. You went to the D-Gun School of Counseling last week.
I listen. I slipped up. I'll get it back. I had a rough morning. I was trying to anticipate, hoping this was like Saturday, but I got it. I'll be all right. I'll be okay. Don't worry.
I'm gonna tell you the tell you the truth, man. It's starting to make me mad again. Because there's too many people that like Andy right now, and right now Andy's the enemy, and I don't like that. I don't like the fact that people are still like, oh, it's just Andy. No, I'm like, I'm not saying F him, but I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, hey, I'm right, I'm right on the cusp of saying, hey, chill out with all this, he's
gone. He's coaching the other team.
Right. He's the enemy right now.
That's what made 2017 so much easier. It was easy to hate Belichick.
Yes, it was.
You know what I mean? That didn't take any kind of effort, man. And Brady and the whole evil empire. Yeah, like Mahomes is a hard guy to dislike. He's he seems like a really good dude.
Not now, right now, not with me. I'm
pissed
off.
I'm
fighting.
I will tell you this.
Yeah.
You're right. The love for Andy is ramped up. But if you guys remember back when he was dismissed or mutual parting of the ways, people couldn't wait for Andy Reid to leave. But since he has resurfaced, and when he won his Super Bowl not too long ago, the admiration for him was unbelievable. And even now I will say this, and we'll talk about this next Monday. If somehow, some way, Kansas City finds a way to win this game, I guarantee you this fan base here, while they will be frustrated, angry, hurt, disappointed, they will give kudos to Andy and the Chiefs because of what Rob said. It's hard to hate Mahomes. This Philadelphia area has re-embraced Andy Reid like I've never seen before. It'll be very similar to when the Phillies bowed out against the Astros. They were frustrated. It was a magical ride. But you saw, I was so proud of the Philadelphia contingent because so many people were on social media. You know what? We lost to the better team. Kudos to the Astros. You know, we weren't supposed to get there, and this ride was incredible. You know, and so kudos to the fan base. So all this negative stuff that comes out about Philadelphia fans, go back to when the conclusion of the World Series. People were disappointed, no question, but they gave respect where respect was due. And I think the same thing will happen here. People will be mad.
Take me a while,
angry.
bro.
I know, but you know, I'm just telling you. You watch what happens.
I hear you. Here's the thing with Reed, though. This is where we do. I don't mean what coming off of what Derek said at all, but we do this sort of revisionist history thing. Here's what I mean by that. Like, it was really time for both sides to move on when Andy left here.
Yep.
You know, it was starting to become a struggle. He didn't really replace his assistant coach as well. He went with that desperation thing with Juan Castillo as his defensive coordinator. And the team really kind of laid down in his last year. And even in the last game, they didn't even show him the respect of playing hard for him. It was time to move on. And it worked out well for both parties. The Eagles won a Super Bowl a few years later.
Right.
Andy's had great success. Sometimes that's okay. It doesn't there's sort of a notion that Andy was run out of town by the fans. And you know how some of that stuff starts. And that's just not the case. It's not what went on. Believe me, you think Jeffrey Lurie wanted to fire Andy Reid? He didn't want to fire Andy Reid. He had to. It just got to the point where it was time to move on.
It was a mutual understanding. It was time to go in a different direction after 14 years.
Right.
Very few coaches get 14 years in the same place. Belichick, Mike Tomlin are the exceptions to the rules. You know, Pete Carroll, exception to the rule. That's not the norm across the National Football League. Nowadays, you know, most teams, look at Houston. They're so impatient. They're on their third coach in 3 years. You know, Adam Gase bowed out of Chicago after a couple of years. With Miami, didn't last long with the Jets.
So Harbaugh's days are numbered right now.
Okay, and how long has Harbaugh been in Baltimore? Think about it.
Around the same thing, about 14 years.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah, you know, it runs its course. You know, so there are a few coaches like I said, the Pete Carrolls and the Belichicks and the Tomlins, who basically, unless they completely bottom out, will ride off into the sunset on their own terms when they feel like it.
Yeah,
I'm in a bad place with Andy right now. So I mean, it's starting to get worse and worse.
He's the enemy. I know. I get it.
Understandable. Yeah,
I respect that.
You know, me and him might put up some dukes. I start thinking of him telling me,
Andy Reid will whip your behind, man. Andy Reid, I put all my Vegas money on Andy. Man, Andy's that wily veteran. You know, you might have the strength, but see, he's already studied the angles. He knows where your weakness is, man. He catch you under the throat in that Adam's apple or somewhere like that, man. He might even take a shot below the equator. You don't know. Anything to slow you down.
Bro, I've been working out, bro. I'm telling you, I've been working out. Y'all have seen it. I'm working out. What you know what I'm saying? That's why I get on when I get on the call. I time my workouts around the call. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as I finish working out, as soon as I get out that hot box, sauna, I'm right there sitting there ready to go through our little team meeting.
I like it.
Bro,
I know you're putting the work.
I'm getting in shape, bro.
That might be for show.
They're coming back, bro. They're coming back. They're coming back. You see that? You see
Hold
that?
up, man.
I see the guns.
See that? Yeah.
Look, man.
Christie's right on. It was like a marriage. Everybody could see it was over. Both parties, and they move on. That's it.
Yeah, just move on.
B. Brooks. That might be for show. We don't know if you're really working out. You might just do that for show to impress us, man. I don't know.
Bro,
I'm just saying.
You sweating for you guys? I'm not
man, you can just pour water on your head, spray a little spritz action, man. I'm just saying, bro. I'm not
the one to impress anybody. I ain't the impressing type. You know what I'm saying? So no, I can't do that. But hey,
stay up that White Castle, man. You been shaping like a week.
Well, why do you think I'm working out so much? Because I got to kill White Castles when I get there. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
so you're gonna undo all the stuff you did?
I don't know. I've been working out for a month.
Hey, he's got a plan, Derek.
What?
Come on, man.
I've been working out for a month straight.
Fitness Rebel approves, by the way.
Of what?
Get your sexy back.
There we go. See, that's what I'm talking about. But that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I got to get it back. And and I might take a little, it'll be a little glitch in the road for a second, you know what I'm saying? But I'll get back to it.
You're allowed a cheat day when you're out at the Super Bowl.
Right.
So you have your cheat day, man.
I'll have 4 cheat days.
Yeah. I like what M. Reyes says. Brooks says it's green screen muscles.
Oh my God!
Hey, did you guys see that guy that he's walking? All of a sudden, he'll just throw his body to the side. I don't know how he does it.
Oh, you saw that video I sent you?
Yeah, I'm like, how does he just throw his body to the side like that?
Dude, it's an illusion.
It's some kind of edit. But
But did you see he did it and I couldn't tell what football game it was.
It was a couple players who freaked out.
Yeah, players. It was before the game. Players who walking across the field, and it was a dome stadium. And the guy goes, "Hey guys, how you doing?" Voop, and his upper body goes to the side like this. I'm like,
that was at the Pro Bowl events.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
is that what it was?
Yeah,
Because I've seen.
But I went to his website.
Okay,
and he does it everywhere. Because I thought it was just a green screen,
mm-hmm.
but he does it everywhere. I don't know how he does it, man. It looks crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? After he showed it to me.
It's well done, man. I will say that.
Right.
I've seen magicians do that, but I'm still like, how do you?
Right. Like it's almost like demonic or something, bro. I'm like, oh, what's going on? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that stuff freaks me out, man. I tell you.
But back to Andy. I want to whoop Andy's ass right now.
I'm with you. Hey, and then back to on Monday, we can all be lovey-dovey.
Right.
Then it's a different deal now.
Yeah,
it's a different deal now. I'm not looking to be anybody's buddy and with a Chief jersey on.
Look,
period.
Let me tell you something, man. You ain't whooping that. Andy's my guy, man. Andy, good people, man. Win, lose, or draw, Andy's good people. You ain't messing with Andy, man.
They good, bro. I played against my cousins, blood cousins.
Hey, look,
Joe Johnson is my blood cousin. Joe Johnson was first round draft from Louisville, played in New Orleans, and he's my blood cousin. And I tried to get him before he got me. In fact, my grandmother and his grandma, his mother are sisters, I think. And it didn't make a difference. I'm like, Auntie, I got to get him before you get me. You know what I'm saying? They both went to the game.
Okay. Did you give him a hug before the game? Did you hug him? Did you dap him up before the game?
Yeah, I dapped him up before the game.
And did you dap him up again after the game?
After the game, I did. But in between the game, I cut him about 3 times. Went for his legs. I mean, I had to.
You tried to damage your cousin.
You had to get him. Then we ended up playing together in Green Bay together.
No kidding.
Yeah, we ended up playing in Green Bay together. And we were cool. You know, we were cool. He knew it. He tried to get a sack, man. He played defensive end. We played against each other. I'm not having it, bro. I'm not having it. You know what I'm saying? We battled the entire game. And of course, we won. And I kicked his ass. And my grandmother, best believe, was rubbing it in to her sister.
That's awesome.
Rubbing it in, bro. Rubbing it in. You know?
Wow.
I love it, man. Well, we had a lot of craziness last night, which we knew it's always a circus, right? There's always a lot of like brilliant questions like this. I'll give you 2 examples, guys. Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts both asked if it was a must-win game when you're playing in the Super Bowl. Like, okay, this is the kind of highbrow stuff you're getting. Then, as if that wasn't bad enough, somebody asked, "What? Yeah, was it a must-win in the Super Bowl?" Right. So and these guys got to sit there and be patient, and they handled it well, and I give them credit. Then the other guy asked Sirianni, which of your players would you most, be happiest if your daughter dated? And Sirianni says, well, my daughter's 5, so I'm not really up for her dating any adult. Like, what are we doing, man? I get it. You're trying to be cute, and some people don't think Nick Sirianni might have adult. I don't know what they think. But my God, man, like this is the stuff that goes on.
Oh, I'm sitting there going, and what's your point? Because I've heard this too many times, Rob. I've seen it firsthand. Who's asked? A number of people asked a question like last night: how important is it to win the Super Bowl? What?
Right.
What? Right. You spent all that money to go to Phoenix, Arizona, and the only question you got in was worth that trip to say how important is it to win the Super Bowl?
Right.
Crazy, man. Hey, Mom. What's going on?
Then you saw the clip where some woman asked Jason Kelsey had on the Mexican the hat, and he said Viva la Mexico. Yeah. I guarantee you Mexico will get so much play out of that. It was worth for them to go there for that. They'll get so much play out of that one line from Jason Kelsey. Viva la Mexico.
And I will tell you, I watched a lot of it last night, and I enjoyed a lot of it. Like they did a really nice job. They used like all of the network's people combined. Like our buddy Sal Palantonio was essentially on the stage with Mahomes, Hurts, Chris Jones, and Brandon Graham. It was kind of cool to see all those guys kind of sitting there together, and a couple questions fired back and forth. It was very fast. It was like pop, 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 pop out. I thought I liked that. Michael Irvin talked to Mahomes and Jalen Hurts about, the significance of 2 African-American quarterbacks. I thought Jalen handled himself great, in answering those questions. That was really cool. Jay Glazer was doing his thing. I think he had Andy and God, I'm trying to remember who else was with Andy. Anyway, but I thought it was really cool the way that they did it. They incorporated everybody and they got some of the big names up there. That stuff was cool. I liked it. So I'm not ripping what it was last night. I like to see these guys in sort of a different light and whatnot. So I thought generally it was pretty cool. All things told. It was
but then you saw once again you saw, Big Red, and you saw, they got, some of the old players he coached, like Fletch and BG and all those guys. He gave them guys hugs and, showed a mutual respect. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? I showed some mutual respect. But before the game, you know what I'm saying? They might say, hey, what's up? But during that game, I'm firing on them. I'm firing on them.
The festivities, and here's another great marketing ploy by the league office. I remember when I covered my first Super Bowl, it was just, you go to media events, people were there, you ask questions. It has become such a spectacle now.
They sell tickets.
They sell tickets for this now. The stands are full. They have it indoor. It is full. I mean, packed like you watching the game. Okay. Look at what they've done to the draft. They move it around to city now. Look how much money is generated on the draft party, 3-day draft party now. Mm-hmm. They're so good at marketing this stuff, man. They just keep making money hands over fist for the city that is hosted in and for the league office.
Yep.
It's unbelievable now.
All right, guys, we have our first guest joining us right now from NBC Sports Philadelphia. He's got some great stuff today, man. Go to NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com and check out all the stuff, all the work that Dave and his colleague Ruben Frank are doing there at the Super Bowl. Dave, first off, good to see you, my man. I appreciate you hopping on. I really liked you and your guy, CJ Gardner-Johnson. You got the tables turned on you a little bit. You were getting interviewed there, Dave. I thought that was pretty neat, man.
Yeah, it was fun. He's an interesting guy, and I've gotten to know him fairly well throughout the year. And I think, like, I was just telling someone, like, that's the benefit of being around the team for, every day. It's like you get to know these guys. And then when you get to the Super Bowl where it's kind of crazy and there's media members from everywhere, it's like, some of the guys that tried to avoid you all year, didn't want to talk to you, are now like, oh, at least I know him. Like, I want to go and talk to him. He's been with us all season. So that was fun. The whole event last night, it's crazy, but it's always cool. Because honestly, it's still good for reporters because, like, the craziness happens, but that means that there are other guys people aren't talking to. So I kind of sneak away and got some good stuff last night. It was fun.
What was the weirdest?
I'm so glad.
What was the weirdest thing you saw last night? Give me the weirdest.
There was one guy dressed in a barrel.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
There was another guy dressed as a giant stick of Old Spice.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, just wacky stuff,
Okay.
There were some celebrities there apparently, but this is how I know I'm getting older. I didn't know who any of them were.
With the Grammys the other night, you don't know who anybody is. Yeah.
Yeah. They had. I remember in 17, JB Smoove was there.
Nice.
I was like, at least I know who that is. Last night, yeah, I could tell they were someone important because people were paying a bunch of attention, but I had no idea.
Gotcha.
Hey, Dave, it never ceases to amaze me when you go to events like that now for Super Bowls, all the shameless promotions that go on. You have some entities, some websites that'll have a kid go up and ask a mic because a player's not going to say no to a kid. You have some of the women who are dressed like they should be basically borderline and Playboy playmate, stuff like that. That'll get questions answered because players are not going to turn them away. And, you get the people that bum rush the stage. You're trying to ask legitimate questions and, certain like GoDaddy and stuff like this. Can you do a 10-second promo for us? And players are like, huh? Now, some of them will do it, but you think about the volume of money people will play, organizations will pay, hotel, airfare costs, just for a 10-second answer. If they get what they want, that makes the entire trip worth it. Not inside journalism, not one-on-one interviews, just to get somebody that's well known for this game to get you to do a free promo for them.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's fun, though, kind of. Like, it's fun to see the circus. And it kind of dies down a little bit after media night. Like, media night that's just what it is. Once they get to the team hotel where all the interviews will be the next few days, it's a little more like football based and it gets back to normal. Yeah. It's just, you get one night of a circus, and the NFL can get away with putting it in prime time, getting fans to pay to sit and watch interviews happen on a big screen, and like,
Unbelievable.
People are cheering, and it's just funny to me. I get it. It's like, if you're in town, you might as well go. But it's funny to me, like a dad's telling his son, "Come on, son, let's go watch Patrick Mahomes get interviewed." It's just a weird thing. But
Right,
the NFL can do it, and it's just a monster of a league right now. So they push it as far as they can push it, and this is the result. But it's fun. Like I think you just, there was a moment last night where I'm just like, I get a little claustrophobic, and there's just this crowd of people, and I'm like, I got to get out of here for a second. I got to breathe, and then I'll come back in. But you know what you're signing up for.
right. Well, let me ask you this, Dave. Two-part question. Who was the best interviewee that you had yesterday? And then also, who was the best interviewee for the entire season? Who would you say is your guy, your mark?
Well, last night I tried to talk to some coaches because the coaches were available. So I talked to Aaron Moorhead for a while about
wide
the
receiver
dynamic.
coach.
Yeah, the receivers coach, about the dynamic between Devontae Smith and AJ Brown for a story I'm writing for tomorrow morning. Just good insight, and it's a moment where a lot of the position coaches aren't being bothered. They're kind of sitting off in the corner while all the players are kind of living it up. So you have a good opportunity. I spoke to Aaron for about 10 minutes yesterday about that dynamic. So that was, I think, the coolest thing. I also spoke to Roy Ispin, the assistant offensive line coach, about Jeff Stoutland. I mean, he played for Stout in the late 80s at Southern Connecticut. They've coached together now in Philly for a while.
Southern Connecticut, that's where Chip went?
There's like a little pipeline.
Wow. Okay.
So that stuff was valuable. But as far as like players throughout the season, Slay's always fun. He's you ever like listen to a podcast at 1.5 speed? That's Slay all the time. He's just always going. He's a blast. Obviously, BG is always fun. It's a good locker room. It is, and it was a good year to be back in the locker room. I think for reporters, like that, the time away during COVID kind of made us appreciate the relationship building aspect of the job, and like getting to know the players a little bit, and even like not interviews, but like getting to shoot the breeze a little bit with guys, and you get to know them, and that all pays off when you're at the Super Bowl. Now it's like you've spent time talking to these guys all year, and now they have time for you on the biggest stage. And that's the cool aspect of the job that I didn't realize until I covered the Super Bowl in 2017, is like that they kind of feel like you've been in it with them all year.
Dave, let me ask you this about Hurts. And look, it's going to sound like a weird question because he's been on the national stage a ton, Alabama, Oklahoma. It's not like he was at, some community college nobody ever heard of, right? And then he, has been the Eagles starting quarterback now for a couple of years and had a great year. But do you think this is an opportunity for people to really get a feel of what this guy's all about now on the grandest of stage from a national, all the stuff that we already know, I guess, from covering, we know, et cetera. Is this that opportunity where people are going to be like, damn, this dude's impressive?
Yeah, I think so. And I think it'll be off the field and on the field. It's funny because he's 24 years old, and it struck me last week that here's this 24-year-old kid about to play in the Super Bowl. And I realized like that should be a bigger storyline, that he's so young in this game. And it isn't, because of what we know about him and what we've seen from him in the last 3 years, that he's so mature and wise beyond his years that I'm not really worried about the stage getting to him or the pressure or the hoopla. Like, he played it up a tiny, tiny little bit last night because he knew that's what was required of him, and he had some fun. But I think he's going to be all business from here on out, and he kind of sets that tone for the rest of the team. To be a leader at 24, like, you're going to be the leader if you're the quarterback, is just kind of a prerequisite, but it's so natural for him. And the guys look at him, and I think he has more of a calming influence than the head coach, who kind of wears his emotions on his sleeve a little bit. That makes for an interesting dynamic, because Jalen is, I mean, I always go back to that Doug Peterson mic'd up moment from 2020 where he's talking on the field pregame, and he goes, sometimes you got to check if this guy has a pulse. And that's just him all the time. And I think when you get to these big moments, that really matters. It's like it's easy to get overwhelmed by all of this because it is different. And NFL players are creatures of habit, right? It's like you have your routine and you go through it every day, and you try to replicate it when you're at a Super Bowl, but you just can't. Like it's just different. You're in a hotel, and the timing is different. We're in mountain time out here, so everything just changes a little bit. So if you have that steadiness to you kind of naturally, it allows you to get past all that stuff. And I have no doubts that Jalen will rise to this level because he's not thinking about it like that.
Hey, Dave, Jeff Lurie is usually so close to the vest. He doesn't like to give a lot of stuff away, but were you surprised he came out and basically said, we understand that Jalen is a franchise quarterback now and he's going to get paid at this stage?
Yeah, I mean, I get why he wouldn't say it, but
right.
There's no reason not to say it. We all know the situation. There's not going to be any discount for Jalen Hurts. I get a lot of questions like, will he take some hometown discount to really help the team? I mean, possibly like a very, very, very minor one, but this dude's about to get paid. And you look at the contracts around the league, I think there's a little pressure to try to get it done before some of the other new quarterback contracts come in. That's the only way you get a discount is if you set the bar and you don't let someone else set the bar that then you have to clear. That's just the way contracts work. One player gets paid and then that becomes the starting point for that next contract at that position. So if they can kind of sneak in there, get it done, set the bar, and then other people, you guys climb the ladder a little bit. I think that's the way to do it. Mm-hmm. But you look at the contracts in the NFL, quarterbacks aren't getting paid 20 mil. They're not getting paid 30 mil. You're starting off in the 40s. And that's just what it is right now for an elite quarterback. And it changes the roster composition because now you have to allocate it, but they'll backload it with the thought that eventually the cap will keep rising, which in the NFL, they're printing money. It's going to keep doing that. So you can structure it in a way where it doesn't kill you immediately. It keeps the window open while he's still young and at an MVP level. And it hopefully helps them fill out other spots on the roster. It's interesting. We haven't seen any in-season extensions this year, right? Think about last year. They extended the entire 2018 class minus Matt Pryor, who was gone. So you had extensions for Mailata, Sweat, Goddard, and Avonte Maddox. We have not seen, and even like a minor one for TJ Edwards, like they were making moves to extend guys. We haven't seen that this year. Yeah. And I think the reason, or at least one of the reasons, is probably because they have to figure out Jalen Hurts first. And then once the big fish is in the boat, then you can figure out the rest of it.
Yeah, I mean, considering the fact you only have 4 starters that are under contract next year. I mean, just 4, so that's going to be tough for Howie, man. But looking forward, looking at Jalen Hurts and how this team respects him. And him, when he first stepped in the locker room, Fletcher Cox said, this guy commanded respect from the time he walked in the locker. And that's a defensive guy saying this. What are the subtle, mannerisms or sayings that he said up on the podium that, that are, kind of Jalen Hurts-esque?
Yeah, he does a lot of that. These are like aphorisms. He just speaks in them all the time, whether it's rat poison, whether, job's not done.
Yeah. Money left on the table.
Once you take a deuce, you don't look at it.
You flush it every day. It's a lot of that. Sometimes he says them, they sound good. You go, like, I don't know what that means exactly. But, it's the way he operates, and it's cool. Like he's a cool guy, right? Like he talked last week about his idol being Michael Jordan, and he's like kind of young to be a Jordan guy. Like most guys his age were Kobe guys if you're an NBA fan. But he kind of has the cool MJ feel to him. It's like everything is suave, everything is very thoughtful, but he's interesting on the podium. He doesn't give out a lot. But he has those sayings, and the players respond to it. It's so much got made about Carson not. Sorry to bring up Carson Wentz, but like him not connect with everyone in the locker room. And it's not even like a knock on Carson. It's just some guys have that special something that allows them to connect with everyone. And unfortunately for Carson, like his 2 backups have had it. Nick Foles had that ability, and Jalen has it too. And it's just like a natural thing that, like, sure, they work on it, but their starting point is just really high. It's a really high level, and he's good at that, and he makes everyone feel like they have a connection to him. And it's kind of like Nick Sirianni, honestly. Like, those guys have that ability to make everyone feel special, and that matters when it comes from a leadership perspective.
I'm
Dave,
so
what's the schedule here?
I got to write a prediction for you this year.
What was that?
I say I'm so glad this is the last time I have to write a prediction for you this year.
I'm glad, man. I'm gonna have to find you. Find you out here.
Could you write your prediction? I mean, where's your prediction now? He's texting me all the time. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to. No.
I'm going to be busting down your door at the hotel for a prediction this week.
What's the schedule today, Dave? Like, what is? Did they get back to normalcy here? How does this work for the next couple?
A little bit. So today everything's a little earlier. So in a few minutes here, we'll be heading over to the Eagles team hotel, which is where all the media is. So today was the one day you had to pick Chiefs or Eagles because they're at their own team hotels and they're like 45 minutes drive apart. And today they're kind of back to back. Whereas Wednesday and Thursday, the Chiefs are in the morning. There's a good window in between, and then the Eagles are later in the afternoon. So today they start, I think, at like 12:30 Mountain Time. So it's a little earlier. The next few days after this, they get done pretty late. I think they finish at 5:15 Mountain, which is 7:15 Eastern. Which and we're coming back. We're doing podcasts, and it's like all of a sudden it's 9-10 o'clock. It goes pretty quick.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, I've told you this before. One of the things I love about you beyond your writing expertise is you're a world-class traveler. This dude has traveled Amazon by himself. I mean, just crazy places. And so we were texting back and forth this morning, and I said, okay, where are you going to go this time in Arizona? I said, you're going to head to Sedona Mountains. We've both been there, one of the most fabulous places to just explore, breathtaking. And so where have you gone so far, and where do you plan on going while you're out there?
Yeah, it's tough. This week is so busy. Yesterday, I just went to the closest little park to downtown Phoenix. It's called Papago Park, and it's kind of an urban park, but some good rock formations out there. So did like a little 3-mile hike. Maybe Friday or Saturday, if I have some downtime, I'll try to get to another little park. It's just tough. I mean, Super Bowl week is
you grind.
It's a monster. There's not much free time.
I hear you. Dave, keep up the good work, man. You can follow him on Twitter at @DZingaro NBCS, and of course, NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com. All kinds of great tidbits, and you have the Eagle Eye podcast with Rube. I think you guys have Peter King. Is that the latest?
Yeah, we recorded with Peter this morning, so that'll be out later today.
Awesome.
All
man.
right,
Dave.
I got you for lunch, bro. White Castles it is, bro. Just let me know.
Don't do it, Dave.
It's on tape. It's on tape, man.
Don't do it, Dave.
Yeah, I'll hold you to that.
Okay. They can take you to a real nice place. That's
right.
Steakhouse 44. Don't let them get you into White Castle, man.
Get some good barbecue, man. With Dave,
it's company money, man.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Dave.
All right, fellas. Take care.
Thanks,
bro.
man. That is Dave Zingaro from NBC Sports Philadelphia. Good dude, Dave. Excellent writer. There is a lot of good insights there from him. All right, when we come back here, guys, we are going to do a little fun exercise here. Better team, this present day Eagles team, 2017. We'll do some compare and some contrast coming up at 1. We'll dig into the Chiefs' weapons. Now, there's a guy I don't think is being talked about nearly enough who is going to deserve some attention here. We'll get into that as well. We got Super Bowl props for you guys. These are real ones, not the ones that I usually make up. We'll look at the Eagles free agents. Dave made reference to it a little bit earlier. We got a lot to do, a lot of Eagles in store for you over the course of the next 2.5 hours. Don't go anywhere. He's D Gun. He's Barrett Brooks. I'm Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk right now about the man himself, Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group. All right, finding the right person to invest. You work too hard not to have the right person, not to let your money work for you. I found the right person, and it's Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group. Look, I've entrusted my IRA, my 401k rollovers to Jim. I couldn't be any happier for you. It could be retirement planning, 401k review, insurance review. You might have a small business. You're trying to get those employee benefits off the ground. It's another resource that Jim can help you with. Give him a call, 610-996-4751. 996-4751. That's how you reach him. You can also email Murray, Murray, .jim@principal.com. That's Murray.jim@principal.com.
Post-game show with Seth Joyner,
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn,
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney,
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
and Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post-game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
Why do millions of people every year from around the world visit Philly's Rocky statue?
You want to tell me the sky is burgundy with green stripes and yellow polka dots? I'll meet you on that. But you're never going to convince me Rocky is anything other than the pure greatness that it is. Never going to happen.
Join me, Paul Farber, for WHYY's The Statue. We're going on a journey to explore the biography of the Rocky statue. Find us wherever you get your podcasts.
Your bank.
Hi, I'm Jim Muehlbronner, Managing Partner at Del Val Insurance Group. Give us a call. We're a local, knowledgeable agency, not an 800 number. Go Birds!
We're back. Yes, we are. Sports Take, tell a friend. JAKIB Sports YouTube Network each and every day, 12 to 3 Eastern. We just finished up with Dave Zingaro. If you miss any of our interviews, we had Jimmy Kempski yesterday. You just go to jakibsports.com. You can check out Gun on One there. Gunner, who was your guest this past week?
Yeah, Sal Palantonio, man. You know Sal. Sal tells it like it is, gives you insight that you sit there, you go, I didn't realize this.
Yeah.
So, the numbers are doing great. Almost 9,000 already have reviewed it. If you haven't had a chance to talk to Sal or listen to me and Sal chop it up about football, Eagles, man, it's great conversation. So thank you for giving me that little prop there, Rob.
Appreciate it. That's why I'm here, man. So interestingly enough, speaking of Sal, he caught up with Jeffrey Lurie, as did Tim McManus from ESPN.com. And one of the things that Jeffrey Lurie had to say, which I thought was really interesting, was, essentially Jalen Hurts has nothing left to prove. Not that we didn't know that already, that there wasn't going to be, extension talks in the works this offseason for sure, guys. But, they're making no bones about it. And Jeffrey Lurie realizes that Howie has echoed those same sentiments. Like basically, he's going to get his. Here's what's interesting. So in 2023, this would end up being he's in his third year. Yeah, this would be the last year of his deal. Okay, the second round deal. Jalen Hurts would make $4.2 million in 2023. The average salary of Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, that crew, the guys who are making the upper echelon money, is $45 million.
Yep.
So you're talking about roughly about a $40+ million bump for Jalen Hurts with that extension. So it's going to be done, I believe. I don't think they're going to let this become a Lamar Jackson situation, and I don't think there's any kind of hostility there. Let me be really clear. I think they'll get it done, but there are going to be ramifications. There are going to be guys that are going to have to walk. And look, Howie's brilliant. I said yesterday, I think he will surprise us with the amount of people he's able to bring back and what he's able to do. But you're going to pay the price for this one. And this is why we always get back to this talking point, man. Win it this year, because nothing's guaranteed as young as Jalen is.
I think
you said it, you said it earlier on today that when you look at how the teams are constructed, you saw Russell Wilson never won after he got paid. You look at, a lot of teams like that. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast, and you just got to have somebody that's in place that can, bring guys in under cap-friendly deals, and how he's done that. It's not the same thing as what they did in LA with the Rams. They sold their soul. Now they're reaping the repercussions of them doing that by having all those huge contracts and bringing in older players and guys not performing that have gotten paid.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right, Barrett. He rarely does anything contractually that just destroys you or hamstrings you. The way that maybe some other GMs. I mean, they were even able to wiggle out of Carson Wentz. I know they paid a price that first year, with dead cat money and all that, but they got value in return and unloaded him. So, whatever this looks like, I know when the numbers come out after they get it done, we're all going to say, oh my God, he's making what? But I'm sure there's like escape clauses and, like ways for the Eagles not to be buried if things go sideways, which I don't anticipate, but you never know.
I think this has to be a very strategic move because of how they had themselves handcuffed temporarily with Carson, but this is a completely different beast. I think when they made this move to draft Jalen, they knew at that point in time that Carson was not what they were looking for. And that wasn't at a point when he was on a downslide of his career. Yeah. That was at a point where maybe they identified something in his makeup, his demeanor, his inability to connect with guys in the locker room. Hey, this is not going to benefit us for the long term.
You think that's why they drafted him in the second round?
I think that's
wow.
Think about it. Think about it, Barrett. They had just given Carson that big money. And then the next year they go out and draft with the second round another quarterback? When you already have your franchise quarterback in the fold?
Did they absolutely have to pay Carson during that time? That's what I want to know.
No, they didn't.
Oh, they didn't.
Pay him.
Okay.
No. But, they did it like a year before his rookie deal was up.
Yeah, they like to get ahead of it. Yeah.
So they stayed ahead of the curve. But then
which actually was good money considering the fact that Carson, he got way less than market value.
Yeah. But then all of a sudden, a year later, you go out and get another quarterback at number 2. And people are like, wait a minute. You had a lot more needs, and there were a lot of good players on the board. And you backed it. Now, we're thinking at the time, you drafted a player who's not getting off the bench for a few years, at the very least, because you just paid this dude all this money. Then all of a sudden, stuff starts trickling out about Carson, the non-football player, and how almost got into a fisticuff with a player in the locker room. And then it comes out, changing plays, going against the grain, so on and so forth. So the Eagles obviously had to see something in his demeanor and his makeup. They caught on to early on and knew they were going to be handcuffed, but were willing to take that risk. I mean, think about it, you don't get rid of your franchise quarterback right in the midst of his hefty contract unless there's a storyline behind the curtains that we're not privy to.
Right.
But stuff starts trickling out, okay? So you made that transition, and lo and behold, Jalen turns out to be 10 times better than what you thought in an accelerated rate. Okay, so they look like geniuses because of how it transpired. Mm-hmm. But that's still, think about who does that, Barrett? Who does that? You give one quarterback huge money, and the next year you take a second-round pick and bring in his backup? Not a wide receiver, not an edge rusher, not an offensive lineman. We know this team loves to stack yourself with trench warfare, first and foremost. They didn't go that route. Second-round pick is still a prime pick in the NFL. They get a guy.
We remember when they drafted him, we talked about that. In fact, when they drafted me and you were on the show, and I looked over at you, you looked at me like, what?
Exactly. What are you doing here?
Right.
I mean, you look at a team like Green Bay, they're notorious for doing this.
Yeah.
They draft Aaron Rodgers, he sits on the bench for 3 years. They draft Jordan Love, he sits on the bench for 4 years. Those are first-round picks they waste.
Yeah.
This team just gave dude a mega contract which was still a friendly contract, but they knew they were going to take a major hit, which was like what, $36 million, the hit they ended up taking.
Yep.
And you got a young dude who's sitting here who bounced around from Alabama to Oklahoma, and you identify him, and nobody had him projected as a second-round pick. First of all, let's start there. Nobody had him at the very earliest.
They overdrafted in a lot of people's minds. Yep.
Matter of fact, they said at the very earliest he would go as in the third round. He had all these deficiencies. He wasn't ready for the pro game. Needed all this, and you took him in the second round.
Well, I think there was two things, Derek. I think one, it was clear with the injury history with Wentz that you had to have insurance, like a really good insurance policy, not just some guy you plug in. So I think that played into it. And I also think you're right. Like they knew some of the whispers. They knew some of the issues. They knew people had beefs with this guy, and he was someone who wasn't, I'm trying to think of the best way to put this, who didn't connect with everybody in the locker room. There was a certain faction of people that he connected with, and it's not a white-black thing. It was, Jordan Matthews was one of his best friends. It was a personality thing. And I don't think he connected with the team entirely. And when you're a quarterback, that's bad. It's of any position. That's the worst one to be that way. And I think it was two things. I think one, they were worried about him being hurt all the time. And they knew in the back of their mind, this dude could, go off the rails here. We can't have it. And
so kudos to the organization for identifying that long before we saw it. While we're still sitting here with our mouths open about the move they made. And of course, we're writing about it. We're talking about it on various platforms about what are the Eagles doing. Here's another Howie move that's going to blow up in his face. What are you thinking? Kudos to them for staying the course and letting it play itself out. And sure enough, Carson turned out to be exactly what they foresaw him to be. Someone that players would not follow or jump off a cliff with. Those who went against the grain, he divided the locker room to a certain degree, okay? Because, they talked about how he had his little clique of players and everybody else was on the outside looking in. That's not what a leader does. A leader embraces everybody. Whether you agree with them or not, a leader embraces anybody. And we already know the quarterback is the one position in football where you have to have that consummate leader where everybody will go through fire, earthquake, storms, floods, monsoons, come hell or high water to follow. Carson Wentz was not that guy, but we couldn't see that. It was way too early for us to see that, but they identified that. So kudos to them for doing it.
Absolutely. I had heard rumblings about it. Man, I remember me and Derek was just sitting down talking about it in the office. And then, man, guess what I heard? And so guess what I heard? We go bounce stories off back and forth. And, as time went on, those stories, started showing up and people writing stories about it. I'm like, whoa, and this is really damning to $100 million quarterback. And, I just didn't quite understand why they would pay him. And they knew this was, who he was in the beginning. I mean, what was that cause? I mean, did they think that he was going to change or they could change him?
I think some of it's denial, Barrett. I think some of it is just sort of like ignoring the problem and hoping it goes away because maybe he's uber talented, and then when the injury started happening and, everything changed, everything started to change with this guy and he couldn't get away with some of the stuff and everything starts to snowball and it just became a mess.
I will never forget when Joe Santoliquito wrote that story about Carson, about all the backdoor stuff, about him almost getting into a fisticuffs with Darren Sproles and all this stuff. And people lambasted this dude up and down the walkway.
He got killed.
Death threats. He had death threats. Okay. Death threats over a story.
Derek, I talked to him that day and he was, he was upset, right? And look, and Joe's been doing this a long time and he knows, I give him props. He keeps it real, with what he writes. He's not pandering to anybody. But he said, this is nuts. Like all I'm doing is reporting what I'm being told by people in that locker room. Okay.
People in the know.
Yeah. And people went nuts and took it way too far with him. And it was wrong, man. It really was wrong.
He took a bold step of faith and put something out there for the public that I had known about, but I wasn't going to be the first one to break that story. Okay. Yep. And I told him, I said, Joe, stick to your gun. If you're going to put that story out, and Joe will tell you himself, we should get him on the show. Joe will tell you himself. He texted me, D-Gun, what do you think? I said, dude, stick to your guns. I said, you're going to take a heat for this. Stick to your gun. Yep. And sure enough, people went after this dude like a dog going after raw meat.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that people actually had death threats, and I want to know how many of those people actually had the gumption to actually go back when it all unraveled and say, "Hey man, I apologize for what I said." I guarantee you, none of them.
Well, I can tell you something like that. I was doing WIP that day. I was doing afternoons, and I had him on. We had a conversation in the morning, and I said, "Look, I'm putting you on, man. I'm going to let you give your side of this thing, and I got your back. I don't care what they're saying, what everybody's saying. Tell me what you just report what you're hearing." And he did, and the callers were going crazy on him and crushing him and all that. But look, what he wrote stood the test of time, and he was the first one to be willing to step out on that ledge, man, and it paid dividends. Now, take it to polar opposite. That's what's one of the things that's so great about Jalen Hurts, not only with the way he plays, but not only is there none of that drama, this guy leads, and the older guys want to be led by him. Older players who've been around forever want to lead. They quote this guy. He's got something different there. That's a trait that you need to have at that position. It's why they're paid $45 million a year. And Jalen has that in abundance. Believe me.
When you're 24 years old and you can command the respect of your older peers who have earned their red badges of courage, who have sacrificed their bodies, and they're looking at this kid and it's a side eye. You know how it is. You're an older player. This kid's going to lead us. But you lead by example. You don't lead by your mouth. You lead by example, first and foremost. And then once you've shown that you can handle that pressure, then all of a sudden you can start asserting yourself verbally. And that's exactly what this kid did. He knew what to say, when to say it, what not to say, when not to say it. He let his actions speak louder than words. Were there some rough patches last year in 21? Absolutely. But they saw the bigger picture. His demeanor never changed. He gravitated towards everybody in the locker room. And I guarantee you, players started calling around and talking, "Hey, man, tell me about this Jalen Hurts dude. What should I know? Hey, man, this dude's legit. Let me tell you something. What you get in the locker room, what you get in practice, he's the same dude. Mm-hmm. He's never going to be bigger than the moment. He's never going to put himself before the team. And as you've seen, the way he talks to the media, the way he presents himself, that's exactly who he is. It's never about me. It's about we. Mm-hmm. And once he starts, especially this year, veteran players, follow that dude into war anywhere, anytime, man. That's what a leader does. There's not many 24-year-olds that have that kind of trait. And I don't care if it's the Trevor Lawrences. I don't care who it is. When you're 23, 24, they always tell you, you got to pay your dues first. And they go through the highs and the lows, and they take their lumps, and players listen to them because you have to in the huddle to get your play and your assignment. Mm-hmm. But in terms of just basically saying, I put this dude on my shoulder, it doesn't happen, man. You got to pay some dues first. But not with Jalen. Mm-hmm. He earned that right almost immediately when he stepped in that huddle.
Yeah, he did. He did.
He showed everybody, man. He showed everybody. And that's what makes Jalen a leader on that team. Let me also say this. Just because a quarterback comes in doesn't necessarily mean that you respect him or you like him. They respect him and like him. Yep. They love that guy.
Yep.
I played with quarterbacks that people didn't like them. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want to be around them, and they wouldn't follow them. Even though they were the quarterback of the team, they would tolerate them. I've been around those type of situations where you didn't have I'll follow you and I'll get in the foxhole with you and we can fight our way out. I played on teams that didn't have that relationship with the quarterback. So, just to put things in perspective, sure. Just because you're the leader on that team doesn't mean you lead and people will follow you. Sometimes just your title alone of being the starting quarterback, they'll tolerate you, but they generally love this kid. They want to fight for this kid. They'll do anything. And that's defensive guys also. That's coaches. That's everybody in the organization. They will go out there and fight a brick wall over Jalen Hurts. And like I said, I've had quarterbacks that, man, they wouldn't go 2 feet for you. I mean, he'd be on fire. They wouldn't piss on him. You know what I'm saying? I've been around quarterbacks like that. I've been around players like that, man. So it's a rare trait to be and have that much command of a locker room, especially this early.
Yeah. I think, and the other thing is, like we always say, well, His dad was a coach. He played at Alabama. He played at Oklahoma. Yeah, and that's all true. He was his true freshman starter at Alabama, and that helped mold him. But let's give him some credit too. And I mean, I know how I was at 24, how immature I was. And granted, I wasn't like, I didn't have the responsibilities. I wasn't, in charge of running a football team like he is. So maybe that changes things a little bit. But this guy is way beyond his years. Yeah, he deserves credit for that himself, as opposed to everybody else around him. So, yeah, it's amazing. It is, and it's so different from the last guy. It's just so different in that locker room. And all the guys who have been there through both know it. They really do. They know the difference, with these two guys. All right. Speaking of that, guys, I wanted to hit you with this. So I know ultimately the answer is unless they win it, they can't be in the same conversation. But let's go under the assumption that this team wins against the Chiefs on Sunday. Better team, the 17 team that won it against the Patriots, or this team for you guys? Now, they played one less game in 17, so they were 16-3. This team would be 17-3 if they win. So there's a little bit of advantage there for this team. But that team overcame a lot more injuries to get to where they are. They beat the GOAT coach and the GOAT quarterback. This team will beat a Hall of Famer in Andy Reid and a Hall of Famer likely in Mahomes. In your estimation, greater team, 17-22.
I would venture to say that I think this team is better constructed than that team in 2017.
Okay.
The depth that they had is right up in line with the depth they had in 2017. I mean, they had Hicks go out. They had so many guys go out. They had JP go out, Sproles go out, Carson go out. And they had backups that came in and played just as well as the starters did, or they played well enough that they could win games with them. I still think that this team, way it's constructed this year, is still more talented, even with the backups. They could come in and play, just as well as anybody else. I think Big V was a better backup tackle than we have right now. I don't think that Jack Driscoll can hold Big V. He's not as good as Big V, but I truly believe he's, the offensive line is better than just a tad bit better than the line they had in 2017, simply because all the starters are there. They didn't have all the starters in 2017 because they had Big V playing there. They also had a backup in what was his name? Oh my goodness,
Wisniewski.
Wisniewski, yeah, they had Wisniewski starting. So I didn't think that he would. Brooksy, I mean, that right side with Brooks and Lane was a monster right side, but the left side was kind of lacking because you had Wisniewski and Big V there, but you still had Kelsey there. So I'll say the edge goes to this year's offensive line. Quarterback position, I still think Jalen is better than Foles, even though Foles won it all, because he had his last two games were the greatest games probably ever played by a Philadelphia Eagles quarterback.
And most clutch. Yeah.
Yes. So those two games, the Super Bowl and an NFC Championship game was the best games I've ever seen played by an Eagles quarterback. But then you look at the previous 2 or 3 games, he didn't play well at all. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, Jalen has he's the better quarterback. Running back position, I think it's a wash. Receiver position is no question better receivers with the Eagles this year than it was in 2017. I'll take those guys over anything. Tight end position. See, that's tough because I'd have to go with 2017 because you had
Ertz and Selleck. Yeah.
Selleck, and then you had Philly.
Trey Burton, who threw a touchdown.
Yeah, so I'd have to go with those guys as being the better tight end position. He had better players at the tight end position. Defensive line, this defensive line this year is the best defensive line I've seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Linebackers, that might be a wash. Cornerbacks has to go with 2023, these guys here. And then the safety position, you got to go with 2017.
Yep. Yeah. Well, so all in all, which team would you take? All that said,
I would take this year's team. Yeah, I would take this year's team.
Gunnar, you too?
I'm glad Barrett went first. It gave me a little bit longer time to think about this. This team the way it was constructed, the depth, the versatility is expected to do great things because of the numbers it piled up. This team, I think, would beat the 17 team if they went head to head.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I would say 17 was the greater story because of the perseverance and the obstacles they had to overcome. Nobody gave them a chance. Nobody. That's when they rallied around that underdog mentality. They don't like us, we don't care mentality.
Right.
And if we're sitting here being honest, we didn't think they would get to the Super Bowl. We didn't think they had a chance, and you know what, to beat the evil empire in a Super Bowl matchup, considering the history that New England had piled up during that time of getting the Super Bowls and winning. So in terms of overall team, because of the underdog mentality, I would have to lean towards 17. You know, and you're saying based on the fact that the Eagles win this one, well, they're the favorites. As slight as it may be, they're the slight favorites to win this one, and rightfully so. When you look at the numbers they have piled up on both sides of the football, especially on defense, unheard of numbers. 78 sacks in the season, approaching 80 sacks in the season. That's unheard of in the modern era of pro football. But I would have to lean towards 17 because of what they went through, the landmines they had to overcome and step around to get through, to get to where they got that year.
Yeah, I would say 17's road more challenging for sure thus far. I would say more talent overall, this one.
No question.
I'd probably lean to this one. I would. Now, the question is, are you going to need a performance like Foles gave you on the big stage on Sunday, and is Jalen up to it? If Jalen's up to it and he shows you that, I think it cements that it's this year. But if he doesn't, if he can't go toe-to-toe with Mahomes the way that Foles went with Brady, then I'd probably swing it back to 17.
Right.
Kind of where I'm at with it. I think it's a great argument, man. I mean,
that's
17,
a tough way. That's a
17
tough
was
thing
more
to call,
of an underdog
Yeah.
thing than this one was. It was more of an underdog. I would say.
Yes. The expectations are they're going to win it all. We had no idea. I mean, we were losing in the second game of the year versus the Giants. It took a 63-yard kick for us to beat the Giants that year.
Yeah.
To get things rolling. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't until that 63-yard run by LeGarrette Blount that really turned on the running game for this team against the Chargers. I mean, there's so many things that were there that took place for that year that, I mean, it was just an incredible ride, man, an incredible ride, you know, and I mean, Carson Wentz's play against Washington, how he was in the middle of everybody converging on him and everybody was wrapped around him and he bust out through that hole and runs for the first down, you know, little things like that.
Yeah.
You know, Sanders rookie year, catching that pass for the touchdown in the side corner. I mean, there were so many things that, you know, not Sanders, but it was a Corey Clement.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was crazy how good.
I think John asks a good question. What if the defense only gives up 14 to 17 points to this offense? That's a fair point. You know, if they win the game and the defense stifles them, then I would still lean to this team because that would just show you how great this defense is. You know, that other defense gave up 33 points, didn't punt, 500 total yards to Brady. So yeah,
he was carving them.
He was carving them. He was. There's no question about that. Look, anyway, it's
imagine if they'd have lost though, Rob. Imagine if they'd have lost. If they'd have lost, can you believe how much pressure, how much of a smear would be on the defensive coordinator
Schwartz?
Can you imagine how that would have come out?
Barrett, think how much pressure would be on this team had they still been searching for their first Super Bowl. Seriously, man. I mean, you know, and then you go into it as of right now, at least as the favorite in the game,
yes,
which they weren't in that New England game. You had the best record in your conference all year. Yeah, man. There's not that there isn't any pressure on this team. There always is when you play in a Super Bowl, but there would be a crazy amount of heat on this team. Just trying to finally get the city its first Super Bowl. But yeah, fun debate there, man, kicking that thing around. We'll come back, guys, and we will get into the key guys that you need to contain / stop and who could be an underrated weapon from the Chiefs that we're not talking about enough. We'll get into all that when we come back. Don't go anywhere. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network, Barrett, Derek, Rob. All right, let's talk about Pro Action Restoration. Pro Action Restoration is who you contact if your home, your business, a property you may own goes through the inconvenience, the pain of water, fire, smoke, mold damage, any of the above. Pro Action Restoration is on call 24 hours, 7 days a week to assist. I know it because I called them on a Saturday, and they got right out to my parents' house. They cleaned up the problem. Price was right. The crew was great. I mean, it was just an unbelievable experience. It was a big sigh of relief more than anything else. They are licensed, bonded, fully insured. They've been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades. Pro Action Restoration will work in conjunction with your insurance company also. So again, water, fire, smoke, mold remediation. If you're not really sure, if you're having some kind of issue and you're thinking, I don't know, I can't clean this up myself, reach out to them. 610-623-3760, 610-623-3760, or online at proactionrestoration.com. That's proactionrestoration.com.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Go for the beers, go for the cheers, go for the hit and the hits, go for the scene, go for the screens, go for the gallery, go for the win, go to Ocean.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Jeff D'Ambrosio doesn't need a special event to appreciate his customers. Jeff shows his appreciation to them every day of the year. Jeff makes sure to stock more new inventory than anyone and guarantees prices and payments that nobody can beat. There are so many reasons that thousands of customers know Jeff is the easy, friendly place to do business. More for their trades. No judgment zone for credit issues. The best, most reliable service department in the country. That's why I like Jeff, and I know you will too. Jeff will satisfy you every day. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Owner Appreciation Event.
Post-game show with Seth Joyner.
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn.
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney.
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
And Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post-game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
Why do millions of people every year from around the world visit Philly's Rocky statue?
You want to tell me the sky is burgundy with green stripes and yellow polka dots? I'll meet you on that. But you're never going to convince me Rocky is anything other than the pure greatness that it is. Never going to happen.
Join me, Paul Farber, for WHYY's The Statue. We're going on a journey to explore the biography of the Rocky statue. Find us wherever you get your podcasts.
What's up, everybody? D Gunn, B Brooks, RL is hanging out with you. Our Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's smash the like button. Let's tell a friend. We do appreciate it. All right, let's look at the Chiefs here at a little bit more in depth. You have Andy Reid, 64 years old, guys, is Big Red. He'll be 65 this year. He's 247, 138-1 in the regular season. He's 21-16 in the postseason. Of course, he's 1-2 in Super Bowls. They did win Super Bowl 54 a few years back. They've been in 2 out of the last 3. They lost to the Tampa Bay Bucks with a pretty decimated offensive line, did the Chiefs. Looking at the team, Patrick Mahomes, 5,250 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, 12 picks, 67 completion percentage, 105.2 passer rating, 358 rushing yards, and 4 touchdowns. He accomplished some of those passing numbers without Tyreek Hill. Travis Kelce, 110 catches, 1,338 yards, 12 touchdowns, more than 12 yards per catch. Some guys who have sort of come up out of nowhere here as the season is going on. Isaiah Pacheco, the rookie out of Rutgers, 830 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns, averaging almost 5 yards per carry. They've also activated Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who in 10 games had over 300 yards rushing. He's just a guy to keep your eye on here. Solid receiving numbers. Marcus Valdez-Scantling, 42 catches, 687 yards. Not bad, solid. But I'll give you a guy before we get to the defense to really look out for. Jared McKinnon, running back. So out of the backfield this year, 56 catches, 512 yards, 9 touchdowns. That is really good receiving production out of a backup running back that the Chiefs have gotten this year. Really good.
This team, Mahomes gets a lot of the accolades, but the organization should have as a whole should get a lot of kudos because the sums have made up the whole. They have pieceworked this team like no other. When you look at the volume of rookies they've counted on, when you've looked at the supporting cast, they took other people's cast-offs in the wide receiver department and made them frontline players on their team. And here they stand with 16 wins, the equivalent to the Eagles. 6 rookies contributing as much as they've contributed, 4 rookies on the back end of the defense in a rotation contributing as much as they have. Are they as talented as the team they are going to face from Philadelphia? No. But because of the way it was orchestrated and constructed, I can't remember, and we talked about this yesterday and we talked about it last week, and I started looking it up. I can't think of another team that has undergone a transformation like this Chiefs team and rose to the occasion the way they did in 1 year. You just don't. And they had a built-in excuse. Hey, look, we got a lot younger. We lost one of the elite, if not the best, deep ball pass catcher in the game today. Hey, you know what? We did the best we could. We had a winning record, wasn't good enough. Mm-hmm. But no. And the competition they beat to get there, they beat the runner-up, the team that had been their nemesis in the 3 previous meetings. A Jacksonville team, some experts thought Jacksonville was going to go in there and beat the Chiefs in the first round of the playoff game when they met them.
Yeah.
And this team is still standing. And I can't say enough about the organization from top to bottom. We hone in so closely on the Philadelphia team, and rightfully so. But when we start branching out and look at like I told you guys, read that story about how they were constructed, what they went through. Fascinating story how they arrived at this point.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a remarkable job by the organization. There's no question about that. And look, it begins with Mahomes and Kelsey, and then you kind of work your way off of that. There's Pacheco, who's really emerged. There's McKinnon, who's I think underrated. Smith-Schuster, who's a little bit banged up, but still, he had almost 1,000 yards receiving this year, guys. So he's not chopped liver. So there are players, they're not necessarily the Tyreek Hill ilk, where he's just going to, be a game breaker on one singular play. But when you have a Mahomes and the ability to buy time and connect with these dudes, they can just make plays. And this is going to have to be a really, really quality effort out of this defense because this is the best offense they faced, period.
Well, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is back also.
Yeah.
So where does he fit in, among these backs? But he's probably the most complete out of the 2 running backs we just talked about. And we also got to understand that, when I broke down the game plan of what Big Red's going to do, he has to run the ball. He has to consistently keep our offense off the field. He has to make sure that he runs the ball because he doesn't want that offensive line to be going out there and acting like Swiss cheese and hitting his quarterback. So those 3 guys are going to be important in the overall scheme of things on how they're going to try to play keep away from that defensive line being able to heat their quarterback up. So they're going to have to run the ball consistently. We know that right side is not good enough. Hassan Reddick will have a field day against Wiley. You know what I'm saying? He'll beat him like a drum. So this is something that they're going to have to do. Big Red is going to have to run the ball, and plus the health of his receivers still isn't right yet. I want to see the report, the health report come out and see what's going on as far as Kadarius Toney, if he's okay. Mm-hmm. Juju Smith-Schuster, is he okay? Both of those guys were out. we all know, you already said that Nicole Hardman, he's already out and they put him on the IR. That's why they were able to bring up Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But, looking at guys like that, man, will they be healthy enough? You know what I'm saying? And that's the biggest thing, health. I mean, right now, Avonte Maddox is still walking in a boot. What does that mean? I mean, we know that we're hoping that it's just, just preventative measures. But those preventative measures, I don't know if I can believe anything they say it now, because, I mean, Jalen Hurts, from what I was hearing, was okay. He could have played if he could have. Come to find out, he was a lot more hurt than they let on to be.
Right. No question. Yeah. There is for sure a lot of talent on that side of the ball, Gunner. Jump over. By the way, there is a man presently right now climbing up a skyscraper in Phoenix. He's sort of in between, I guess, pillars or columns, and he's doing it by hand and by feet. I am not kidding you, man. And it is a high-rise building. And the cops are waiting for him on the roof. But this is happening. And I swear to God, I'm not making this up. This is happening presently right now in Phoenix, in downtown Phoenix. You got a guy climbing up, literally up a building, like Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man-esque.
I can't wait to see what company he's representing. There's got to be some marketing ploy here.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, why else would you do it? Why would you pick this particular week to do it? I mean, seriously. You need attention that bad that you do something like, I mean, seriously. And you know what? When he gets arrested, he's going to get even more notoriety in that area because it's going to be on every newscast tonight.
Yeah.
When they finally get him.
Yeah.
So he'll get exactly what he wanted.
We'll find out. He's definitely like, I think he's nude too.
What?
As if this wasn't enough. Yeah. There's a lot going on, man.
Hey, maybe he got some of that Aaron Rodgers peyote.
Peyote, yeah. He's out there in the desert somewhere.
And you know what? I can remember I was in Dallas. I was going to do a game at Baylor, and it just so happened that Erykah Badu was filming her video, for her new song, and she was walking. And as she was walking, she was getting naked. And it actually passed by my building when she getting naked. I was too far up to see anything, but I was watching her walk down naked. You know what I'm saying? While she was getting undressed, bro. It was crazy. I think I was in Dallas, or was it New Orleans? No, I think it was Dallas. It was Dallas. Okay. Crazy, man.
I'll keep you posted to let you know if our man makes it. We'll see where that shakes out. All right, let's go to the defensive side of the ball now. Chris Jones, of course, this is the guy we hear about all the time, and rightfully so. 15.5 sacks, 44 tackles. The guy's a menace. He's everywhere. He's the Nick Bosa of last week.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Yeah. It says it's Howard. Oh, Alex, I thought he was talking Howard Eskins.
Oh, man. Come on, man.
No, thank you. Love the king. I don't need to see the king in his birthday suit. I'm good. No thanks. All right. So what are you doing here to nullify him? Is it as simple as the Eagles defensive line will handle their business, or do you give a little extra attention to Jones?
You're gonna have to give him a little attention. He demands that type of attention. He's that good, and he just has great hand placements, and he plays underneath his pads. He's never in a position where he's out of position. That's what makes him so good. His strength comes from his ability to get his hands inside or knock hands down or move hands off him to get, and turn the corner. And he has great bend. So he's definitely a force. You got to make sure that you know what he's doing and where he is. Do you necessarily change your game plan for him? I don't think so. I think our offensive line is good enough to take care of them. I mean, they've played against dominant guys. Lawrence, they played against, those guys.
Sure.
And neutralized them.
Yeah.
Because they're that good. Not saying that we're just going to be like, all right, whatever. No, but he's that good. You got to pay attention to him. But, I mean, it's got to be everybody else has got to play their role. You know what I'm saying? The key matchups is probably going to be whoever Clark has over him. Because Clark can still rush the passer. He's really good. Frank Clark is pretty good still. You know what I'm saying? So both Kalafdis, I don't see our guys having any trouble against him. But Frank Clark is still somebody that you have to focus on him. He can still rush the passer. But other than that, you know, those linebackers, they run well, but they're not the caliber we've been going against, you know, here lately.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and they do have some good linebackers for sure. I mean, Bolton is a tackle machine, Barry.
Yes, he is, bro. Yes,
180 tackles on the season, 2 sacks, 2 picks. He's a versatile player. He was a great pick for them. He's in his second year now. He was a great pick
from Missouri.
Mizzou,
He's from Mizzou. Yeah. I don't know. Is Willie Gase practicing? Is he playing yet?
Yeah, Andy Reid. Yeah, interestingly enough, everybody practiced today. And I didn't realize this. Like, I think they had their pads on for a little bit today, and then Andy wanted to get the blood flowing, so to speak.
That sounds Andy.
Yes,
that sounds Andy-esque.
Good way to focus, right? This is still football.
Yeah, we did the same thing. We did the same thing in my Super Bowl. You know, Coach. You know, Tom. No, not Coach Tom, but man,
Cower.
Coach Cower. He wanted to make sure we got back to business, get back, refocus. You know, when we say we had pads on, we just had helmet and shoulder pads on, but that's just like practicing full speed because only thing you don't cut in practice anyways. So you didn't need lowers anyway. So every time you had your shoulder pads on, it was full speed. Mm-hmm. You were ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said.
If Andy can get a hitting session in somewhere, believe me, Andy Reid's going to get his guys. And a hitting session will wake you up in a hurry. You know, you get all caught up in the hoopla of the nights and the lights and all that good stuff, and you're in the Super Bowl, and butt heads with somebody for about 20 minutes. That'll wake you up real quick and remind you of what you're here for. And Andy Reid, and like I said yesterday, he has done an incredible job of making a transition of relating to the modern day player compared to when he first became a head coach, and he related to him back then, but he's still got a lot of old school in him, you know, and he's going to remind these players, you know, this is not a vacation trip. Mm-hmm. This is not one of those destination getaways you're going to. We're about business. We're about enhancing our legacy with this organization, something that really didn't happen before he got there.
Yeah.
You know, so these guys, Andy Reid will get these guys focused real quick on what they need to do.
I saw a good tape breakdown by Dan Orlovsky of ESPN. He does a really good job with that. He thinks with the Eagles pass rush that you're going to see a lot of Kansas City screens, a lot.
I agree.
So, I mean, that's something that the Eagles, obviously, I'm sure they're prepping for, and I don't question that, but it's something they're going to have to execute. And because Kansas City's very successful. We know Andy for years has been a big proponent, and his teams have run the screen very well. You know, the B West days, and with some of the other running backs the Eagles have had here, Shady, you know, they've been a good screen team. So that's something to watch out for sure, if you're the Eagles.
And nobody runs it better than Kansas City in terms of setting you up, in terms of what they're trying to do. And they've got 2 guys now that Edwards-Helaire is back to go along with Pacheco. They've got 2. See, we talk about how tough this kid Pacheco is. We don't talk about how fast he is once he gets an open space. Mm-hmm. And the same thing with Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yep.
You know, talk about how fast they are. Mm-hmm. And that's why I said you're going to see a lot of deception, misdirection from Andy Reid. He's going to have to offset that Eagles defense. You can't just go right at them. You've got to catch them leaning one way or the other. Mm-hmm. That's the only way they're going to have any kind of consistent measure of success against that defense.
Yeah, I'll tell you the other guy, man. I'm going to flip to the defensive side one more time. I meant to mention him too. L'Jarius Sneed is nasty. Okay? The corner, yeah. And you don't necessarily love when your corner has, but he had 108 tackles, which here's what I'm saying. That's not necessarily great for your defense, but it tells you that this dude is willing and able to bring you down where a lot of guys who play that position aren't. He had 3.5 sacks, 3 picks. He is versatile, man. He's another guy. He's got to watch on defense. If you're not that familiar with him, he's really good. So they certainly have their share. That's for sure of playmakers.
Not many DBs want to hit nowadays. They barely want to tackle. And this dude here is like a kamikaze pilot. He'll let you know he's in the game real quick. Mm-hmm. The only thing is, Andy Reid's got to drill it into his head. Do not take an unnecessary excessive hit that could cost us 15 yards at any given moment. But once the adrenaline starts pumping and that mojo starts flowing, it's hard. You can look at a coach. It's just like you tell your kids, didn't I tell you don't open the refrigerator? Uh-huh. And they do it anyway. Why'd you open it? Because I wanted it. Same thing with players, man. You can preach at them all week. Don't do this. Don't do this. You get out there, that adrenaline start pumping. Why'd you do it? I don't know, Coach. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
It cost Cincinnati their football game.
Yeah. Speaking of that story, speaking of Cincinnati Bears, did you see the story about the kid who made the play who cost him 15 yards and cost Cincinnati the game? It was a story talked about how as he walked off the field, his teammates were some of his teammates were trashing him. He gets to the locker room. He's got tears, and you can tell he's been crying. And the media thrust their mics in his face. How does it feel to know you lost the game in so many words?
Right.
And finally, one of his teammates stepped in. How do you ask this kid, 22 years old, this question? He's down like he's never been before. The dude even got death threats from Cincinnati fans. That seems to be the fad now. When your team loses, you give death threats to a person or members of a team. I mean, that's real mature to do that. But, dude, for 22 years old, he's got to live with this until the next football season. If I'm him, I get out of Cincinnati. I don't go back there until I have 2 OTAs. I don't come out of my apartment because you got idiots that are going to say things to him that shouldn't be said to a 22-year-old. He's human. He made a mistake in a big moment. Made a mistake. Yeah. But like the Bible says, let him without sin cast the first stone.
I don't know.
You're not allowed to make mistakes. And yes, it's a football game. It's not life or death. You want your team to win, but it's not life or death. Okay? Some people can't get beyond that. And it's a shame that imagine if you're a 22-year-old kid who went through that, or if it was you at 22 that went through that.
Yep.
It's not right. It
what was that? What was our kicker's name that went to Chicago and we got the double doink? What was
Cody Parkey?
Oh, Parkey.
Cody Parkey. He went through that too. Remember?
He had all kinds of death threats in Chicago. It was ugly.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Yeah. It's sad that people have to go through that, man.
Yeah, you would want to tell them.
The state cops.
That, the police officers wouldn't even have.
Yeah, hey, when you ask, will you make sure Cody gets home safely? Nope. And kept walking.
Jeez.
Straight face. Kept walking.
Cold.
Nope.
It's cold. Nope. Yeah,
wow.
That's cold.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Cold-blooded.
I hear you. All right, we'll come back. We're going to look at some of the Eagles free agents, kind of, do a back, not back with Eagles free agents. Sixers are in Boston tomorrow. Trade deadline's Thursday. Flyers lost last night. Phillies pitchers and catchers are 9 days away. We'll dive into all those kind of things. Then in the NFL segment, some more news on a new defensive coordinator being hired in a big spot. Some other movement around the league, and we'll get into over-unders from the Super Bowl. These are actual lines, not the ones that I tend to make up during the regular season. So we'll do that when we come back. We got a lot more to do. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. Right now, Flynn Tree Services. Yes, Flynn Tree Services is an experienced, licensed, and insured Pennsylvania tree services company that will trim or remove any unwanted trees off of your property. They offer cost-effective solutions to any tree problem that you may face. They serve southeastern Pennsylvania, South Jersey, and northern Delaware. They're just a quick phone call away. Flynn Tree Services specializes in tree removal, stump grinding, as well as tree pruning. Now, keep in mind, we got storm season upon us. We have hurricane season upon us. We got some nasty winds during this time of year. Before the winter really hits hard, get your tree evaluated. Get your trees evaluated. Make sure that you don't have some branches or, God forbid, an entire tree coming down on your property or something worse. Go to their Facebook or Instagram page for a sampling of their work or more information. Give Flynn Tree Services a call at 610-850-2848. 610-850-2848 or online at flynntreeservices.com. That's flynntreeservices.com.
Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.
Philadelphia fans, we're cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Why do millions of people every year from around the world visit Philly's Rocky statue?
You want to tell me the sky is burgundy with green stripes and yellow polka dots? I'll meet you on that. But you're never going to convince me Rocky is anything other than the pure greatness that it is. Never going to happen.
Join me, Paul Farber, for WHYY's The Statue. We're going on a journey to explore the biography of the Rocky statue. Find us wherever you get your podcasts.
Post-game show with Seth Joyner.
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn.
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney.
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
And Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post-game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
We're back. Yes, we are. I guess I'm back. Hi. I am Rob Ellis. No Barrett, no Derek. We're just hanging out with you on this Tuesday. Leaving me all by my lonesome, these two guys. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you know, you're bailing on me, Gunner, and you're muted and all that. You got your fancy hat on today. You don't care about me anymore. Is that how this works?
Rob, I would never abandon you, man. Look, as I'm walking back, I honestly thought I had like 30 seconds left. I could hear you say in a distance, no Barrett, no Derek. I said, oh, shoot. So I pulled my best OJ, man. I hurdled over some cord, jumped back in there,
you
man.
Broke a couple tackles. You got,
almost broke one of these ring lights, you know, sitting here, man. You know, I was like, my bad, man.
All right.
This 3-minute break, man, is not enough. It's not enough time to take care of what you got to take care of sometimes,
I know.
man.
It catches up to you quick. I know how it works. I got you, man. So a couple things to keep in mind. Derek, Sixers off until tomorrow. They'll be at Boston. That'll be a nice test for them. They're coming off that disappointing loss on Sunday night where they lost to the Knicks, but it'll be Boston right now, who, you know, has been the best team in the Eastern Conference so far this year. It's tight. Boston's a game up on the Bucks and 3 up on the Sixers and 5 up on Cleveland and 5.5 up on Brooklyn. So that's kind of where things are. They have the most wins in basketball. They have 30. They're 38-16. Sixers are 34-18. So again, nice little measuring stick for the Sixers tomorrow night at Boston. Trade deadline quickly approaching 2 days from now. We know that Korkmaz wants out, and I think everybody collectively who's seen him play would be happy to get him anywhere he needs to go. I'm sure the organization is trying anything they can to trade him, but you know, we'll see. I think he has another year left on his deal after this. Why did they give him 3 years? I mean, who are you going?
I don't know.
Who are you? Okay.
I don't blame him for taking it. Hey, if you give it,
women, yeah.
I don't blame him. I blame them for giving it to him. Yeah.
But at the time, they didn't have a shooter, and at that point, he was supposed to be a shooter. Remember, they had just let go. They just let go Ben, and the whole deal with who they sent over to the Nets, and they needed another shooter. He was the best thing they had going coming off the bench.
Yeah.
No, so they couldn't let him go.
But 3 years was too much. I mean, I like, again, my whole point is you weren't. Nobody else was banging down the door for 3 years of Furkan, and if they were, you know, have at it. But I hear you, Barrett. I hear you. It makes a lot of sense.
Hey, Barrett, he's a shooter. He's a shooter, Barrett.
Coach
shot himself right in the foot. Barrett, he's a shooter. Shot himself in the foot. That's what he did.
You're right.
Yeah. Wait, what did T. Tuna say now? Barrett late.
Yeah, see, I was late. But look, you cannot be late getting to the dock And,
you missed the boat. You missed the boat.
Bro, they would get out of there. Captains don't play around being late on the boat, bro.
No.
Yeah.
You got to go. You got to go.
Hit the sun just right, catch the tide just right, get to their spot just on time, because sometimes fish bite better in the morning than they do in the afternoon or evening or vice versa. No, they got to get going, you know.
I got to the boat. I got to the boat 2 minutes before it was about to leave, and they were packing up. And Derek was like, you know, it's his birthday. He was like, oh, just let him leave. He ain't gotta go. Just leave, going out.
Wait, see,
like, come
again,
on, Derek.
Rob.
Like that?
See, Rob, he tells you partial story. See, his wife told everybody to be there 7 a.m., right?
That was the move.
So me and my son-in-law and my father and my son, we got there on time. We get there, ain't nobody there. It's a ghost town. We don't even see a boat, right? So we're looking around, and I'm calling Barrett. That Barrett's not answering. Then I call his wife. Finally call. I said, let me call the brains of this operation. So I call his wife. His wife says, oh, yeah, we told everybody to be there early because you know, Derek D. Gunn, how some people like to arrive late.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, you're the host and you ain't even here yet. So then the boat shows up. We get on the boat. We're both supposed to take off at 8, 8:05, 8:10. I still don't hear from Barrett. And we're like, what's going on here? And then Barrett finally shows up about 8:15. The birthday boy shows up like 8:15, 8:20, and said he had to do this. Then he starts walking towards the boat. Then he turns around and walks back and goes in some office. I mean, we're like, what's he doing?
I was there on time, but I had to go back, and we didn't leave till 8:15 because I had to go pay for it first.
You had to pay for it, but you should have been there, paid, and on the boat before 8. You were the host.
Yes.
Because I could have got another half hour of beauty sleep. You know what I'm saying? You messed up my whole day.
You're right. And that's where my Yoki turned into Yaki.
Oh, was that trip? Okay.
Yeah, that trip.
Oh my goodness.
Interesting. So yeah, trade deadline Thursday in the NBA. We'll see what happens. Flyers back at it. They lost last night to the Islanders 2-1. Carter Hart 28 saves on 30 shots. You know, they hung with them. Tell you, the NHL doesn't play around coming back from the All-Star break. You're right at it.
No.
So they ended up losing to the Flyers. Phillies pitchers and catchers are just 9 days away, guys. February 16th.
It just ended 2 months ago, man.
It really did, man. It is amazing how quick it goes when you go deep. And then full squad is the 21st. That's for everybody. I'm excited.
You know what the best thing about spring training is, if you love baseball, is the fact that if you live in the Midwest or the Northeast, you have a built-in excuse to get away in a casual setting. See, unlike a real game where you hustle and bustle, get in, get out, get there early. We got to leave early. It costs you astronomical figures for concessions and little trinkets and stuff. Yeah. You go to spring training, it's in a relaxed environment. It's never really a crowd trying to get in and out of the stadium. You leave at a reasonable time. The cost of food, concessions are at a decent price compared to major league stadiums, and you come away more relaxed. You can make it a sports / family vacation type atmosphere. A lot of people do it annually. Just get away for a 3-4 day weekend, go down to Clearwater or wherever. A lot of teams go to Arizona. Just get away and enjoy some sun and fun.
Yeah,
in a very relaxed, non-regimented environment.
And it's also, if you aren't able to make the trip, it's you can get an escape for a couple of hours. If you watch a game, you're like, oh my God, look at the sun. Look at how warm it is. They're in shorts, And
you know what else?
I've never been there before.
Oh, you got to go.
Oh, you got to go.
Got to go.
And it defeats the purpose of that little rodent that sees its shadow every year. Yeah, you can see the shadow all you want. I see sunshine right around the corner.
Yeah.
You see all that. You see the shadow. Don't give me the 6 weeks of winter left. Now, baseball is almost here. I'm ready.
Yeah, we're close. We are close. All right. I wanted to hit you guys with this because we've talked about it and around it and gotten into some specifics with it, but the free agent list, and the Chiefs have a lot too, by the way. But the free agent list for the Eagles is lengthy, and it's a lot of good players. Let me just throw the names at you.
Let's see here.
James Bradbury, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, TJ Edwards, Kaiser White, Javon Hargrave, Brandon Graham, Namdekan Suh, Linval Joseph, Robert Quinn, and go to the other side of the ball. Isaac Seumalo.
Well, you got Marcus Epps.
Marcus Epps, I skipped him. Sorry, Marcus Epps is on. Yeah, he's on the list. Marcus Epps, and then the other side is Miles Sanders and Isaac Seumalo. And I didn't give you every single free agent, but that's some headliners right there. If you look at that group, I mean, the only ones who really you would not consider, I don't know what you consider BG. I consider him a starter, but I guess you could say Sue and Joseph, Dillard and Quinn would be the only non-starters. Bradbury starter, CJ Gardner-Johnson starter, Hargrave starter, Sanders starter, TJ Edwards starter, Kaiser White starter, Seumalo starter, Fletcher Cox starter, Epps starter. I mean, it's a lot, man. It's especially a lot on the defensive side, but that's a lot.
I can tell you who's not coming back.
Only 4 guys are under contract out of the starters. 4 guys. That's ridiculous, man. I mean, I don't know how was Howie able to bring in, guys of this magnitude, like a James Bradbury, Kaiser White, Namdekan Suh, Linval Joseph. How was he able to bring those guys in and fit them all under the cap, along with Fletcher Cox, along with Derek Barnett? He was supposed to be there, but he got hurt. But how do you do that, man? How I've never seen anything like that before.
Mm-hmm.
That you could bring in that level of quality and have them here, and not miss a beat.
Yeah. Combination of shrewdness, I guess. Is that a word? Shrewdness? And guys willing to bet on themselves, Barrett?
Yes, I know that's the case with Kaiser White.
Yeah.
James Bradbury.
And guys ring chasing. And that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And that's Sue and that's Linval Joseph.
Exactly. They got in on the tail end. I mean, that's incredible that he was able to do that, man. It was incredible that he was able to get guys to come in here, buy into the system, and want to be here. On the offensive side of the ball, everybody should be there. Because I mean, they really didn't bring in any talent from that level. I mean, who's the only guy that came in on the offensive side of the ball is Pascal,
right?
So Pascal. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody else has signed the contracts, long-term deals. He's the only guy they really brought in as a Band-Aid on the offensive side of the ball. AJ is going to be here. We know that. But Pascal's the only guy that we really say, you can say Boston Scott signed back. You know what I mean?
Right.
For the low. But other than that, man, everybody's supposed to be there. Offensive side of the ball is still stacked for next year. Defensively,
that's where it's at, man.
He's got to be a miracle worker. I mean, how do you fit everybody under cap? How do you bring in new draft picks? How do you get everybody and pay the quarterback?
Even if you brought back half of the defense, that's still like 5-6 really quality players going.
Right. You didn't even mention Fletcher Cox.
Yeah. Fletcher's
right
on there.
But I can tell you who's not coming back next year.
Who's that?
Robert Quinn, thank you, but good luck to you in the future. Wherever you go.
Quinny's going to be a one and done. Yeah.
Well, what do you guys think about signing back Derek Barnett? Well, he's still under contract. No. He signed a 2-year deal.
I thought it was a 1-year deal.
I thought it was 3.
I thought it was a 2-year deal.
Barnett.
Geez, is it that long? I thought it was, man. I don't know why. Maybe it was wishful thinking. I thought it was 1 year. Let me see if I can find it.
2-year deal.
Yeah, he signed a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
Now let's see what's
wow.
Let's see what's guaranteed here. I don't know. You know how contracts can be a little funny in that league. Let's see
that funny money.
Funny money. Okay, according to Over the Cap. All right, so It looks like they can get out of this thing pretty easily from the way I'm looking at it in 24. Yeah. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm with you. Maybe you bring him back at a cheaper rate, and that's part of your cost cutting. Possible. Possible, I guess. I don't love it.
I can see Barnett being one of those guys who restructures his deal.
Yep.
And I believe the Eagles will try to bring him back because he will be a bargain basement price compared to most of these guys that they're going to have to try to deal with.
Yep.
If I'm Kazir White, if I'm Bradbury, if I'm Epps, I'm not taking any family discount plan.
No.
Why would you?
No.
I mean, why would you? There's big money to be made. Now, it's not guaranteed money like the other three sports, but this is my one moment in the sun.
So he signed a 3-year, $15 million deal, including $8 million guaranteed.
That's it?
Average annual salary, $5 million. In 23, he will earn a base of $1 million, roster bonus of $1 million, and a restructured bonus of $6.4 million.
If that's all he garnered, that tells you exactly what the rest of the league thought of that.
Yeah, there wasn't a big market out there.
No. $15 million over 3 years?
I don't see any hometown discounts except for Brandon Graham.
That's it. Oh, that's the only one. And Graham has already said publicly he'll take the discount.
The only one that if the money's comparable that he may lean Eagles is Fletcher Cox, but I don't even know that.
Are you gonna pay Fletcher Cox $14 million?
No, I'm not. I'm saying if you get him back a lot cheaper,
right.
I would bring him back again.
Are watching the stream.
I'd bring him back.
Watching the stream. You guys ain't watching the stream, man. Duck, man. He put he's around said, my point. What's he up to this week? Because he ain't playing football. He's referring to Dak Prescott right now. Prescott hung 40 on Prescott hung 40 on us. Duck hits him back good. Yeah. My point. What's he up to this week? Because he ain't playing football.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yep.
Chad is undefeated.
Yep. Yeah. Shots fired in the chat section.
Dak can come over and sit next to me. He might have been in the skills competition or something.
Yeah, I think he actually just threw an interception, even though he's not playing.
Dang.
Just threw another one.
Rob, get him, Rob, get him.
Don't get me started. Then suddenly I'll be in the middle of a war. No thanks.
Who knows? Linville might come back on a discount because he's happy to be here and think in terms of might be able to repeat.
Yep.
If Sue wants to keep playing football, maybe.
If Sue gets his ring here, he might chase a little bit more money somewhere else and put himself in a position to try to win.
Or he might just say, "Man, I got another one."
Yeah, I'm done.
See.
Yeah.
So who's that corner that we saved his life? He was a former first rounder from like the Colts. He scored that touchdown. Well, he
Patrick Robinson.
I mean, I think Bradbury is the same as Patrick Robinson. We'll take big money from somebody somewhere else.
Oh, why would you?
Big money.
Oh, he's getting it.
Why would
CJ
you?
Gardner-Johnson's getting, whether it's here or somewhere else, is getting huge money. Bradbury's getting huge money.
Big money. Yes, those are big money contracts right there. James Bradbury, CJ Gardner-Johnson.
I'll tell you, it's a big one. Hargrave's only 30.
Big money.
Yeah.
But you know who's going to surprise everybody and garner some big money? TJ Edwards.
Probably.
I buy it.
He jumps out. He jumps out on film, man. He jumps out.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to get paid a king's ransom. And he deserves it, man. He's worked himself into being a really good linebacker in this league.
Yeah.
A really good quality starter. You know what I'm saying? He made himself faster. He's more instinctual than he was. Even like I always knew, like when I watched him at Wisconsin, man, you remember how good he was at Wisconsin.
He was great
at Wisconsin.
Yeah, he was great at stuffing a run. Couldn't cover. He couldn't cover us in pass coverage, but great at stuffing a run. Great at reading offensive concepts. I think he's a much
nobody
better player
throws
than
in
the
the Big Ten though.
I know, and
Yep.
I think he's a much better pro player than he was a college player. So he worked his butt off to get to where he is.
But me, he played with the Watt boys too. You know what I'm saying? So of course, you know, he has some help over that side of the ball. I remember they played LSU, and both he and Watt tore it tore LSU up. I mean, those two, they couldn't be blocked. Nobody could touch them. They were killing folks, bro. That's one of the best games I've seen from the linebacker position. Both he and Watt, Edwards and Watt, balled out.
I believe it. L'Jarius Sneed is cleared concussion protocol, by the way. He will practice tomorrow, so he's good to go. Sneed is good to go.
He might knock himself out of this game early.
Well, I mean,
shows up.
He's physical, man.
Yeah. 6 shows up. I mean, Brian Cook, 6. He was showing up when they gave him the opportunity. They put him in there for him. He showed up, man. So even if Sneed doesn't play, well, he's playing now. We see, you know, Cook showed up and played pretty well in his absence. Played damn good in his absence.
But see, to get back to what you're saying about this multitude of free agents, and you talk about how this roster was constructed. If you let Kazir White go, oh, by the way, we have Nakobe Dean waiting in the wings. If Hargrave or Cox goes, oh, by the way, we still have Milton Williams and Jordan Davis. If Epps goes, oh, we do have a high first-round draft pick. We can get another safety or corner, or linebacker or edge rusher. If they decide to say goodbye to Derek Barnett, well, we still have a second a first-round draft pick. We can address that issue with that. This team is in such a great place in terms of replenishing the cupboards. You know, unlike so many teams that have to make these decisions. You know, you look at teams like Dallas, they have 15, 20 players they have to worry about. The cupboard is not reloaded with younger, fresher bodies waiting to take over. They're going to have to find bargain basement players somewhere to come in and take over through the draft, through lower tier free agency. This team already has people in-house to step in and pick up the void. And
that's the thing, Gunnar. You're right. And do these guys have to show that they can play? Absolutely. No question about it. And this is where you're going to fall back on. They better still be on this run of drafting well. Because, you're going to be – at some point, you're going to see Juergens. You're going to see Jordan Davis next year with an extended role for sure. You better hope that they're right. But, they have the 10th pick. They have what it's either going to amount to the second to last or the last pick in the first round, which is their own. It's not like there isn't some plan in place here to be able to fill the void here. Whether that's guys who aren't here yet. And that's the other thing is they go out there and spend in free agency and bring somebody who's maybe going to be cheaper, with just an eye towards this. There's no reason to believe that can't happen or make trades. We know how he's aggressive with making trades. So any of these things could happen.
If anybody can make it work, especially what he's done over the last 2 years, it's Howie. I guarantee you. It's funny, and I hear so many front office people say that before a new season starts, they're already looking ahead to the next year. That's how you have to run pro football. Okay, they already know in August who's in the last year of their contract, who basically, hopefully we get something out of them this year. We don't think they're going to come back next year. And some people, change their minds. Some don't. Some live up to lower expectation. But plans are already in place before the upcoming season is already started. So you're way ahead of the curve in terms of identifying what you need, where do you think you can get it from, or how we're going to approach this, whether it's draft, free agency, or a combination of the two.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes and, how much magic Howie is willing to or is able to work. I mean, I don't know. You win it. Does that change things, the mindset a little bit? Are you willing to take a little bit less money? We'll see. We'll see. That's for sure. So there were some good pieces this past week or so on Howie Roseman from varying different spots. I think Ruben Frank had one. There was one ESPN. Jeff McClain had one as well. But the what was really interesting was we all heard the stories about this. Howie Roseman's just sending out letters after he graduated. He went to undergrad at Florida, and I think he got his law degree at Fordham, I think. So he had just graduated. He started sending Mike Tannenbaum and Joe Banner letters all the time, just saying, give me a chance. Let me get my foot in the door. I want to be a GM, but I have an expertise in the cap and all that. And it just happened one time that Tannenbaum and Joe Banner are having a conversation. And I think Tannenbaum said to Joe, like, Are you getting? I get these letters from this guy. You know, he's relentless. He's a Jersey guy. And Joe's like, wait, is his name, you know, Howie Roseman? He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, this is guy. This is back before I guess emails were really big. He was sending hand letters in the mail. So eventually Tannenbaum gives in. And he had a position open. He interviews Howie. He finishes the interview with Howie and he calls Joe and says, listen, I thought I had something. I don't. It's it's taken now. But this dude was really impressive. You might want to just at least talk to him. So Banner agrees to talk to him. He has a long interview with him. He's totally impressed. But at that point, the Eagles don't have any openings right now. 6 months later, something pops. Somebody leaves or whatever. Somebody else gets, a raise, a promotion. He offers Howie the position. That's how it all came about. This went on for like a year or so. Howie was emailing every single NFL team. And I think he was hitting, especially the Eagles and the Jets hard because he was from North Jersey, I think.
Was he email or send him a letter? He was emailing.
I'm sorry, sending letters. Actual
he was
letters.
sending letters. It
like
wasn't even emails.
Post office.
Yeah.
Handwritten.
And like almost every day. Every day. With something different what he brings to the table. So that just shows you like A, persistence pays off, but B, how much this guy wanted it, man. And eventually you think it into existence. It's manifest destiny, man. You just keep doing something, pounding it, not taking no for an answer. He did take no for an answer.
Here we are, man.
Well, he also credits Andy Reid for helping him make that transition. He said when he was 34, and Andy Reid basically was still the GM/head coach.
Yeah.
Andy Reid sat down to him, talked to him, nurtured him, mentored him on how he should approach this thing. And he goes out of his way to extend accolades to Andy Reid for what Andy did for him in terms of helping him build his confidence and intestinal fortitude to do what he's been able to do over the test of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty amazing, right? All right, let's come back and let's dig into our NFL stuff. And we will also, in the midst of the NFL segment, do some prop bets for the Super Bowl. There's a ton of them. We'll give them to you each and every day going forward, but we got some good ones for you where we'll kick it off today. Don't go anywhere. Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. I want to tell you about Razor Technology. Yes, Razor Technology. In particular, I want to talk to you about change management. With threat vectors evolving, it's never been more important to monitor all the changes in your work environment and set up automated alerts for when something violates an existing policy. Get visibility into pivotal changes happening to your system and networks with IT support from Razor Technology. Change management is an end-to-end solution for tracking changes across all the systems and networks your business administers so that it has transparency into who is making changes with enough time to respond and take corrective action if necessary. An unauthorized user, device, or application doesn't need very long to cause serious financial and reputational damage to an organization by altering, damaging, or stealing sensitive data. That's why Razor Technology uses real-time change detection to catch malicious actors in minutes, not days or weeks. Contact Razor Technology today to learn how their managed IT services can protect and enhance your business. Give them a call, 866-797-3282, 866-797-3282, or you can reach out online at razor-tech.com. That's razor-tech.com.
Post-game show with Seth Joyner.
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn.
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney.
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
And Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post-game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
Why do millions of people every year from around the world visit Philly's Rocky statue?
You want to tell me the sky is burgundy with green stripes and yellow polka dots, I'll meet you on that. But you're never going to convince me Rocky is anything other than the pure greatness that it is. Never going to happen.
Join me, Paul Farber, for WHYY's The Statue. We're going on a journey to explore the biography of the Rocky statue. Find us wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jim Muehlbronner, Managing Partner at Delval Insurance Group. Give us a call. We're a local, knowledgeable agency, not an 800 number. Go Birds!
All right, we're back. Yes, we are. Hour number 3. Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Gunner, Brooksy, Rob Ellis hanging out with you on Tuesday. All right, Steve Wilkes, who did not get the gig as the Carolina Panthers head coach that went to Frank Reich, is now the San Francisco 49er defensive coordinator. He spills that slot. D'Amico Ryans went to the Houston Texans as their head coach. Nice hire. Real nice hire right there. That's a good move by Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch and crew to bring in Wilkes, who's been a really good coordinator throughout his career.
Well respected as a defensive mind. Man, the 49ers just keep finding these DCs, man. I mean, trying to follow Robert Saleh and D'Amico Ryans and the success they had in the Bay Area is not easy, but I think they picked the right guy in this guy. I mean, you look at what he did for Arizona, even though he got fired after 1 year, defense played well. His defense played much better in Carolina. It's a shame, he wasn't more of a serious consideration in Carolina for the head coaching job. You could tell the players really played for him, although they didn't get the results they wanted. But, that's a big pickup for 49ers.
Mm-hmm. No question about that.
Huge for him, man. Huge, man. That defense will stay up there as being one of the top defenses. They just got to, get that crybaby stuff out of their system, bro. Stop being crybabies.
Yeah. Just take the loss, man. It's all right. Right. It's okay. You're the bigger person for it. Just you lost. The better team won. We'll get him next year. That's all.
Right.
Brian Flores. A lot of people thought he might get blackballed. He may not get a gig again because he sued the league for discrimination. But he's landed on his feet. He was with the Steelers last year as a defensive coach consultant. He's been hired by the Vikings. Another good hire by the Vikings as their defensive coordinator. They get that defense together, man. They're dangerous if that's the case.
Yes, and they'll be more aggressive, at least with him.
I hate they hired him.
Right. The only person thought ill of this hiring was
D-Gun.
You're the first person I thought about. You and your brother, bro. Y'all gonna be going at it.
Sure enough, D-Gun, what's he like? And I had to be honest, I said, dude, you got a good one with Brian Flores in terms of a coordinator. I mean, he's taking over the 31st ranked defense. That defense will improve significantly because, like Barrett said, they're aggressive and they like to play a lot of man coverage. You won't be that lazy man zone, that zone coverage that Ed Donatel played. That's for sure.
Mm. So yeah, it's a good move. It's a good move, and I'm glad to see there wasn't. I think that's all that stuff's still pending, right? I'm just glad to see there wasn't any kind of, backlash against them.
No, not yet. No. I mean,
so that's good.
It's hard when you tell the truth, bro, to be ostracized like that. To tell the truth.
No question. Yeah, no question about it. This was really interesting from yesterday. So Sean Payton had his introductory press conference in Denver. And sort of towards the end, one of the things he was asked about was Russell Wilson. Now, Russell Wilson, even dating back to his Seattle days, and this turned off a lot of his teammates, but he essentially had his entourage, with him at all times, whether that was on a flight, whether that was in the building, on the road, whatever the case may be. And this past year, he had his own quarterbacks coach, in the building, in the locker room, at the practice facility. And Peyton was asked about that, and he said, I have no familiarity with that, but absolutely that's not happening. We're going to have a quarterbacks coach. We're going to have, offensive coordinator. That is not happening with any player on this team. So I'm glad to see somebody laying down the gauntlet. When you have the kind of year that Russell Wilson and the team had, there's going to be changes, and it's not just coaching. It's going to be the way things were done and what was allowed. So good for them. Good for them.
I love it, man, because it's not like that T.O. junk, what I'm saying? T.O. having this masseuse, fly with the team and all. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah,
we know you're a special player, but you're not getting those type of special privileges. That's definitely not happening.
Yeah,
not today, partner. So I like that they stepped up. I like that.
Do we think we get sulky, moody Russell? If that's the case, he's not getting all what he's accustomed to, his comfort level.
If for the money you're paying him, put on your big boy pants and man up. You got what you wanted last year. You had your worst season ever as a pro. Now we're going to do it our way, and we bring in a coach who can stand up to you. See, Nathaniel Hackett was just happy to be there and give it an opportunity, and I'm sure he tried to pamper him as much as possible. Sean Payton ain't that dude. He ain't playing that mess. And I guarantee you, before he took that job, he talked about that with the Broncos front office brass. Hey, what's this quarterback guru thing that Russell has? I can't have anybody interfering with what we're trying to do. You want me to come here? You have to back me up in this, man. So for Russell, it's, you can pout all you want, but you're being paid more than 95% of the players in the league to play a game at this stage of your career.
Right.
You put your big boy pants on. Let's go to work and try to change this thing around.
And if you really care about winning, you brought in a coach who's won a Super Bowl and who's had quarterbacks function at a very high level, so he knows what he's doing. So, you become Mr. Selfish player if you get any kind of issue with this. Suck it up and deal with it.
Yeah. What kind of leader are you? We're going to find
sucked.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, you sucked last year. You know what I'm saying? Let's start all over. Let's try this, and try to take you out of this whole notion that
Gunner, you see that
you played so bad.
Shots fired.
JAKIB Media had to tell D Gun he couldn't have his coaches and his personal chef at Oceans. Well, you see, I didn't really need them because Ocean has taken good care of it. Ocean laid out the red carpet. Must I remind you of the suite that I get weekly?
There we go.
When I'm all said and done, the food we are fed during the course of a game. I have no complaints whatsoever about the way Ocean has treated me and my colleagues this football season.
Hence, Robert, me and you weren't invited to the dinner. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's see. Barrett has NBC responsibilities. Rob has WIP responsibilities.
It's true.
Therefore, I have no sympathy for you. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm looking if I get a
could have
tasty
still
cake.
been invited to the dinner, man. You know what I'm saying? Because
you couldn't have. No.
We know they have a run game. What would we be saying if
that was a 2-hour
if we
dinner?
hadn't won a Super Bowl?
Okay, look, don't get me started on that.
They had
three or four. Hey, look, oh my God. They had 3 or 4 cameras in there, and we had like a 2-hour dinner session. They filmed most of the whole thing, and those were the excerpts they took after a 2-hour dinner. I can't control that.
No. You look good though, Derek. You looked handsome. You had your nice suit. You had you were looking sharp.
What did Derek say?
I said, he put in the work. That's what I said.
No, he put in the work. What did Philly say?
Oh, you mocking me now?
Oh God,
boy! I tell you what.
You know they can run the ball.
It's all jealousy, Derek.
Oh, the jealousy is real.
It really is.
Jealousy is real. Let me ask you.
Hating.
There's nothing like hunger jealousy. Like the hangry jealousy is bad.
And you know why I'm pissed off? Because I went downstairs to make me
peanut butter and jelly.
No, a turkey and cheese.
Yeah.
Went down there, no turkey. They just cleaned the refrigerator out just now, so they threw the turkey away and the cheese away.
And the cheese?
Oh, hold on. It just said that the package it was on said it was you're supposed to eat it from one. Is it 129? Expiration date 129. And I'm thinking to myself, well, hell, I ate one yesterday. And it tasted good to me. So why did you throw it away? It tasted good yesterday. It was from 129. I couldn't taste the difference.
Examine it. That's what you do. Like if you see it's past date, you're like,
hey, look, here's how I approach it.
Smell it.
Here's how I approach it. Did you see any green hair on it?
Same here.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It doesn't look like
it's still edible. That's right.
Look, it wasn't even slimy. I'm so mad they threw my turkey away, bro. I'm hot as fish grease.
I don't blame you.
It tasted so good yesterday, bro. I went down there. That's why I'm mad. So
dude, at least leave the cheese so you can make a grilled cheese or something.
I know you guys had all kind of lobster and everything else.
Let me tell you something, dude. The food we had at that place.
That's why I was late. I'm like, come on, man.
And then they gave us a menu. Said whatever you want on the menu is paid for. I said what? Whatever we want on the menu is paid for. What?
Okay.
Let me tell you something. D-Gun ate like a king that day. I ain't gonna lie to you. He's like a king. And the fact that you weren't there is your fault, not mine, because of your commitments, not my commitments.
Fair enough.
I made myself available.
Fly Park said,
what?
Look, Fly Park said, Bear's got an iron stomach. Yep, because I'm about to put it to the test. Come this weekend with these White Castles. I can't wait to land. Skirt.
You better either video or at least get some stills of yourself at White Castle. We have to have that. That is must.
No question.
Yes.
No question.
You have Zingaro or Rube or whichever one of your colleagues is there. I want some evidence, man. I believe it. I believe you're going to be there, though.
Not to rub it in, Barrett, but since you mocked me in my commercial spot that I had no control over, Christmas Day we had brisket, so we had a big 15-pound brisket, and my wife was smart enough to slice it up and put it in the freezer. Oh, she just took it out yesterday. Let me tell you something. It still tastes good. So after this show, I will be going downstairs, put a little barbecue sauce on it, warm it up, and make me a brisket sandwich.
Y'all see why we can't be friends. I mean, he got to put that in. I'm trying to eat an old ham sandwich or a turkey sandwich, and he's talking about brisket from Christmas that was frozen. And when you warm it up, oh my God, I know it's gonna be bad.
And it was smoked on top of that.
I had a banana and goldfish. That was my lunch.
Did you guys see the movie Coolie High?
Yeah.
Okay, so you remember when he takes the bottle and pours it over the grave, so this is for the brothers couldn't be here? That's what I'm gonna do. The first bite, I'm gonna burp and say this is for the brothers that couldn't be here today.
Oh my God!
Hey, but you know what's the bad part about when I went downstairs because I ate it. I ate this the turkey yesterday because I knew it was down there. So when I go downstairs, I took the bread out first, put my napkin down, and I took the mayonnaise and the mustard, and I put it on the bread. And
did all your prep work?
Right. So then I'm looking in the fridge like, hey, where's the lunch meat at?
It's the worst feeling.
That
is the worst.
Threw it out. I'm like, what?
I know. And your stomach's growling. It's ready for it. I know. It's the worst.
129. I ate it yesterday and it was great.
Yeah. You could have gotten another day out of it.
Like John Dickerson said, D-Gon take a bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's and pour a little bit out in the sink and say, this for the brothers who couldn't be here. That's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to pour the rest on the top of that nice thick slice of brisket and put a piece of cheese on it and melt it.
I know.
In the barbecue. Oh, I'm sorry, Barrett. Did I go too far? Oh, I'm sorry.
See, that's what I'm
and
saying.
Chris, believe me, that wasn't just me being the weirdo I am. It was just not a lot of options.
Chris.
Not a lot of options.
Yeah, because his family's not allowed to bring food in the house.
No, see, I have to do a better job. I ignore having stuff ready for lunch. I'm bad at lunch. Lunch is an issue. I got to be better.
I got to too, because right now I got 2 pieces of bread downstairs with mustard and ketchup, mustard and mayo on it.
A jam sandwich. Jam.
So I'm thinking to myself, I'm cheap, so I really don't want to just throw it away.
I know.
And I can't put it up in the refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? So
you can't. It's either you eat it or toss it. It's one of them.
Right, because it's gonna be soggy. Man, I just wait.
I've done that. I've done it. I've done like if I had a roll ready and I threw like mustard on it or something and there was nothing to eat. I'll eat the mustard in the roll.
Oh, come on, man! Are you serious?
I'll totally do that.
I'll throw it in the trash. I'm like, I'll be so mad. I'm not eating this. I'll throw it in the trash. Hey, Barrett, if I send you a picture, will that help you?
No, God, it's not cool.
See,
Not
that's why it's hard being friends with this guy. You know what I'm saying?
It's
It's
not
so
easy.
hard being friends with this guy.
Hey, you sat here and mocked me on a commercial spot I had no control over. Yes, I'm retaliating.
There you go.
Yes. Yes, I am. Yes, I'm taking
all right.
the low road. Yes.
Let me give you this. Brian Johnson, the Eagles quarterbacks coach, he is going to interview for the offensive coordinator position at Notre Dame after the Super Bowl. Now, they lost their OC. Tommy Rees went from Notre Dame to Alabama to join Saban because Saban lost his offensive coordinator, Bill O'Brien, to the Patriots. It's like the domino effect. But that would be a loss, man. Brian Johnson's done a phenomenal job. There's a lot of people that, say he may be the next guy to get a gig as as an offensive coordinator, maybe the following season. So let's keep your eye on that one. What ends up happening there with that. All right. I wanted to throw this past you guys before we get into our over-unders and our prop bets. There's going to be an estimated 50.4 million people betting $16 billion on Super Bowl 57. That means 20% of the population will be gambling on this Super Bowl.
That's about right.
It's a lot of money and a lot of people.
No, I'm not surprised one bit. When you consider on an average, over 200 billion is bet in sports gambling alone in America annually. 16 billion, that's a drop in the bucket. I'm not surprised one bit.
For one Super Bowl.
For one game, yep. But then you have to couple in the fact that they're not just betting on the game. There's over 650 different prop bets that you can add to that equation. So, who came up with this idea of prop bets anyway, man? That's phenomenal. And people make big money off stupid stuff like coin toss. How long will the national anthem go over under minute 45? Stuff like this. And people gravitate towards that stuff, man. Who scores the first touchdown? Who gets the most yard receiving? Who makes the first catch in the game? Dude, if I was a betting man, I'd be all over a lot of these things, man. But luckily, I got too many miles to feed. I can't afford it. I can't afford to bet Monopoly money.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you with that, man. All right, let me throw some at you. And these aren't my created ones. These are real ones from actual sites. Some over-unders here for the Super Bowl. And you guys just tell me whether you think it can happen or not. Over-under 12.5 points first half for the Eagles in this game. 12.5 first half for the Eagles.
Over. First half?
First half.
Oh, definitely over.
You think? And they're the best scoring team in the first half this season.
Oh, yeah. Over. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm going with the over also.
Yeah.
I'm going with the over also.
Kansas City defense can't hold his team under 13 points. No way.
Okay.
And remember, we used to get pissed off because they wouldn't score in the third quarter.
Yeah, the third quarter was an issue. Yeah. Yep. Jalen Hurts, first touchdown of the game, to score the first touchdown of the game for both teams, plus 800.
That's a good bet.
I love that bet because if the Eagles are on, in the red zone, he could be throwing it. He could be running it. If they're on the goal line, he's keeping it. We know that, how successful the quarterback sneak is. That's a pretty good bet for me, man.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Jalen Hurts score the first touchdown.
Yeah.
Ooh, I wouldn't touch that one because there's so many different options to choose from. It could be Miles breaking off on an 18-yard run.
Or the Chiefs score first.
Or Chiefs could score first. You never know. Yeah.
What's the likelihood? Because they like to play man coverage down in the red zone. And they go zero, and then all of a sudden he just runs it himself.
Yeah.
Takes it upon himself to run a touchdown himself.
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay. I wouldn't touch that one.
Chiefs over under 5.5 first quarter, not the half, just the first quarter points. 5.5 for the Chiefs first quarter.
I'll say over. I think Kansas City is going to come out with a bag of tricks and punch one in the first quarter. I'll take the over.
Yeah, I would go over on that one too.
Yeah,
I'd go under.
Eagles got to figure out what they're doing first.
Yeah,
and it may take them a series or two to figure it out.
Get your bearings a little bit. You like the underbag? You think the Eagles defense?
I like the under. I think they come in and Big Red's going to be doing something he's not accustomed to doing, and that's trying to run the ball. And I think they'll be able to stymie him, so they won't be able to do it.
Okay. All right. Any player with a 55-plus yard TD reception, plus 250. Either team, 55 yards or more, plus 250.
I take that one. I say it could be AJ or Devontae.
It's possible with the weakness of the Chiefs is that secondary, in some ways in terms of coverage and big plays.
Yeah.
If Tyreek Hill was playing, I don't know that line would be, what it is, but we'll see.
I wouldn't take that bet.
No?
Nah.
I don't know, man.
I wouldn't.
You got two great route runners. You got two young corners, might be susceptible to a double move somewhere. Jalen's going to let them know that, hey, you've heard all these stories about my shoulder. I'm going to air one out for you. Catch that's back into that defense napping.
Yeah.
I'll take that one. I'll take that one.
I like that too. Over under field goal of 48.5 yards or more.
Ooh.
I'm going with the over.
I like that with Jake Elliott. Both of these guys. Butker's a good kicker too.
Yeah. I like that.
And it's an inside, right? It's not going to be, it never is in the Super Bowl, but it's not bad weather, or something like that. Good conditions would lend to a big long field goal. I like that one.
Yeah, I like that also because of the strength of both kickers. Yeah, I'll take that's a bet I would take.
Okay. Patrick Mahomes, 277.5 passing yards, minus 130. I'm going under. I'm going slightly
under?
Yeah, I'm going to go under.
Let's see. The dude threw 5,200 yards worth of passes. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball. So if he gets, I'd say I'll take the over because I think he's going to be throwing late, trying to play catch up. So I'll take the over on that
Interesting point. How about you, Barrett?
That's tough, man. Because he'll still get his as far as passing yards. I don't think they'll be able to finish the deal. Especially when they get to the red zone. They're used to doing all those funny plays, and I think they stymie them in the red zone. So, I believe in the middle of from 20 to 20, they'll get their yard. So, you know what? I'll still go with the under also. I'll go with the under.
Okay. Hurts, under 247.5 passing yards. Under 247.5 for Hurts.
247?
Yeah, that's a good number. That's a good number. He hasn't gotten close to that in these first two games, but they were able to run the ball 44 times in each of those games. I don't know that you're going to be able to do that in this game.
I go with the over.
Over.
Yeah, I'm going with the over because I believe AJ. Yeah, AJ. They're not going to be able to stop Brown and not Brown and Smith or Brown and Goddard or Goddard and Smith. I mean, they won't be able to stop everybody. So I think he'll do good.
I'm going to say under because the attack will be so balanced. The attack will be so balanced that he won't need more than 247, 208 passing yards to do what they need to do to hit the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
You look at his passing yards against the Giants and against the 49ers. The running game told a story, and I think the running game will have a prominent role in this game also.
Okay. I like the under. It doesn't mean I think he's going to have a bad game. I think he gets around 235, somewhere around there, 230. So I'm going to take the under, but that's good. I think it means the Eagles will be running the ball well.
Right.
Let's go A.J. Brown. I love this one, by the way. A.J. Brown 5.5 catches is at minus 125. A.J. Brown, 5.5 catches.
Over.
I love the over.
Over.
I'm going over all day with that.
Yeah.
That's easy. Even though the past two games he's been averaging 3 and 4, but I think he goes way over. They overcorrect all the time.
Yeah, and I think he's not happy with the way these last two games have gone. I know he's happy his team won, but he wants to, on the biggest of stage, do a little bit more. All right, we're all over there.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce, man, this is a big number. 8+ catches for Travis Kelce. You got to get over 8.
I'll say over because he's going to be the primary weapon in the passing game. Even when they try to blanket him, I say he's going to be over. That's going to be Mahomes' safety valve in this game. Mahomes is not going to have a lot of time to stand back there and go through second and third options. Kelce is his primary option. He's going to be looking for him often in this game.
How about you, Barrett?
I'm gonna go over also because he might be the only thing they got going on.
Mm-hmm.
not for big plays. I think they're gonna, as soon as he does catch, they're gonna tackle him. There's got to be a great tackling game for this team. They can't allow them to get that yak yardage, and that's where he's great at, that yak yardage. So I'm gonna say he does get maybe 9 to 10 catches, but he's getting tackled immediately.
Okay, I'm going with this. I'm going with an under here, a slight under. Devontae, over under 61.5 receiving yards. Yeah,
I'll take the over. I'll take the over for him. He's going to have a couple of, plus 20, plus 25 yard catches in this game. Especially because I don't think Kansas City's pass rush can get to Hurts. So Jalen will have an extra second or two to stand back there until he frees himself, and he'll find a seam in the middle of the field somewhere. So I think I'm going to go with the over.
Yeah, you know what? I like the over too. I think Devontae is going to be able to get downfield, like we were talking about.
And I don't think anybody can cover him.
Yeah.
None of their DBs can cover him. So I like it also. I like the over also.
And look, I'm also adding into the equation that I think that Jalen's shoulder is going to be that much more healed, which will allow him to do some more stuff down the field, which plays into all of this, which help, especially with the receiver numbers, depending on who it is. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot to look at here. I mean, you could bet everything from coin toss to the length of the national anthem, anytime touchdown for a lot of these guys and make pretty good money. You could do two touchdowns. I would grab Hurts plus 550 for 2 touchdowns scored.
That's a good deal too.
Yeah, that's a good deal. Yep.
All right, I'm going to throw the last one. MVP. Okay, here are your choices.
Ooh.
Jalen Hurts at plus 110. Patrick Mahomes at plus 130. Plus 1,200. A.J. Brown's 1,300. Devontae's 2,400. Okay. Of that group, which one would you grab? I'll tell you, and I don't have the odds in front of me. I would, and I'm sure you're getting good ones. I would hit Hassan Reddick. And I'm sure you're getting crazy good money. I just throw a little tiny something on it, and I'd grab Reddick. Oh, JB says it's plus 3,000.
Wow.
I think if that's real, I don't know if that's real, but JB, if that is, yeah, I would be all over that. I agree with him.
Guys, I would go with Brown going to Disney World.
AJ?
AJ?
Yeah. I would go with Brown going to Disney World.
Wow.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. That would not surprise me one bit. Yeah, pretty interesting, right? Hey, one other thing I wanted to mention, we didn't get a chance to get to it earlier, but I wanted to squeeze it in now. So LeBron James has the opportunity to set the all-time NBA mark tonight for scoring. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's held it for 39 years.
He needs what, 36 points?
Yeah, he's at and he's in his 20th year in the league. But Kareem's held it for a long, long time. That's a pretty wild accomplishment, man, to be the all-time scorer.
It took him 20 years to do it, though. How long did it take Kareem, what, 16 years?
He's 37 points away, by the way. Kareem was at 38,387 in his 20-year career with the Lakers in Milwaukee. I guess it took him a little bit less because he played 20 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But it's rare that a guy comes in with that kind of hype.
Right.
And lives up to it and then some. And he's done that. That's for sure.
Kudos to him,
Yeah.
and he's still a scoring machine now, even at this stage of his career. So he's going to set a mark that may never be broken. People didn't think Kareem's mark would be broken, and here's LeBron. And, I'm sure somebody will come along down the road. Think about it, because Kareem played part of his career. Well, not that he was, but Kareem wasn't a 3-point shooter.
No.
To set that record. And since they implemented the 3-pointer, LeBron's taking advantage of that and then some, as a lot of players have.
Yeah.
So, kudos to him.
So when LeBron retired, he was 40. Not LeBron. When Kareem retired, he was 42. Now, keep in mind, he played 4 years at UCLA. So there's a difference there. LeBron 38 right now. But yeah, so LeBron will get there a little bit quicker. So pretty amazing, man. At age, he's 38 years old. When Jabbar was 38, he averaged 23.4 points per game. That was 1987-88, which was his last average over 20. He was 40 when he was 41. He averaged 10 points per game in his final season. So, LeBron at 38 is having an insane season, and they're not going anywhere, it appears, unless they make a big trade deadline move. But the talk was obviously that it was going to be Kyrie Irving, but that's not happening.
And if LeBron truly wants to play when his son is eligible to hit the league, he's going to play another 3-4 years.
He said it the other day. He doubled down on it. He said, "Look, I got plenty left, and I want to be like the Griffeys." He said that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and they played together, and we know they went back to back, which is I'm astounded by that. The father and son duo went back to back. But anyway, all right. So let's get a quickie in here. We'll come back. You want to throw a question our way? We could do that. Throw a question mark in front of whatever question you have in the chat section. We will do so. We'll take some of your questions. We'll also throw some birthdays and some movies and get it back to the Eagles as well. Don't go anywhere. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis hanging out with you. Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Go for the beers, go for the cheers, go for the hit and the hits, go for the scene, go for the screens, go for the gallery, go for the win, go to Ocean.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Jeff D'Ambrosio doesn't need a special event to appreciate his customers. Jeff shows his appreciation to them every day of the year. Jeff makes sure to stock more new inventory than anyone and guarantees prices and payments that nobody can beat. There are so many reasons that thousands of customers know Jeff is the easy, friendly place to do business. More for their trades. No judgment zone for credit issues. The best, most reliable service department in the country. That's why I like Jeff, and I know you will too. Jeff will satisfy you every day. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Owner Appreciation Event.
Post-game show with Seth Joyner.
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn.
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney.
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
And Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post-game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
Why do millions of people every year from around the world visit Philly's Rocky statue?
You want to tell me the sky is burgundy with green stripes and yellow polka dots? I'll meet you on that. But you're never going to convince me Rocky is anything other than the pure greatness that it is. Never going to happen.
Join me, Paul Farber, for WHYY's The Statue. We're going on a journey to explore the biography of the Rocky statue. Find us wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes, we are. Sports Day, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network on this Tuesday. Yeah, so I just checked the odds. Hassan Reddick is 25-1. So he's plus 2,500 to win Super Bowl 57 MVP. All right, so just throwing that out there. All right, let's hit some questions. We got some questions for the folks. T for Tuna. What do you think the media will say about Mahomes when he doesn't win his second Super Bowl? Is he another Aaron Rodgers? No, I don't think he is. I think we're early in this thing. He's only 27. I think we're a little early for that.
Aaron Rodgers went to 1 Super Bowl in his career. Mahomes has been to 3.
Right.
No, there's no way they would say that about Mahomes.
Yeah.
This falls in the category of, sometimes quarterbacks get too many accolades and take too much of the criticism. And when you consider, we've talked about this extensively, this Kansas City team was not even supposed to be here with the youth movement they went through this past off season. That's a phenomenal story in itself when you consider the kids that have helped contribute to where they are now. And they did it in the AFC Championship game without 3 receivers that they were counting on. Okay, so
and he's doing it on one ankle too.
And one ankle, and Mecole Hardman is not playing in this game. And we don't know about the other 2 receivers.
Yep,
so
fair enough.
If he doesn't win this, no, that's not on him.
All right. Who would you guys call the biggest X factors for both teams outside of Mahomes and Hurts? Excuse me, from T-Car. Biggest, I gave one earlier. Jared McKinnon, I think, is an X factor. Guy you got to watch. If you're the Eagles defense.
I would say Clyde Edwards-Helaire for Kansas City. Him coming back, he's well rested. He's had a lot of time off. That dude is a bowling ball, man. He catches it, he runs it, he's got speed, he's got power. I think they try to integrate him in this game early. I think they try to integrate both him and Pacheco, but I think him more so. I think he could be an X factor in this game.
Okay. B.
I'm gonna go CJ Gardner-Johnson.
Okay.
CJ Gardner-Johnson, I think he has an opportunity to he's going to be covering
Kelsey.
He's going to be covering Travis, and I think he's going to get him one. I think he's going to get a pick.
Okay.
I think he'll be an X factor in that aspect.
All right. Let's see. Good questions from everybody, by the way. Just keep them rolling.
Great questions, yeah.
Our girl Chris says, will Seth blow a gasket if the Eagles don't run the ball? I think. I'm sorry, it just went away, but I think that was the question.
No, I think it. Wait, I just saw it.
Yeah, it just left mine. So
she said, D-Gun, will Seth blow a gasket if we see soft zone coverage from the secondary this Sunday? Absolutely, yes.
Yes.
He will lose his mind if they play soft coverage and let Mahomes dink and dunk their way down the field all game. Absolutely. He loses the gasket when they win. What makes you think he's not going to blow a gasket now? Absolutely, he's going to blow a gasket. We may have to give him oxygen before the post-game show is over.
Give him some of that good food, man. Keep him going.
Oh, we have plenty of that. Oh, did I tell you what the menu was, by the way? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
You did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. You did. You did.
Okay, I didn't mean to bring that up. I'm sorry.
Needle it. Woody Woodpecker.
Well, we get it. Ocean Bear will be better than what you get in the press box during the game. I promise you that.
So what is your deal, Barrett? You're obviously staying down there. When do you come back? Monday? You don't know?
He's beside himself.
Do I not even? Is this a sore subject? When you're coming back? I didn't even know this.
He'll be back. He'll be back Monday. He has to, because if they win, they're going to make everybody take a flight back quick as possible so you can get in place, do your shows on Monday, and go over the game plan for the parade. Oh, he'll be back.
I would
remember what they did to us.
Wednesday or Thursday is what I would guess if they're, you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. But
I remember what they did to us in 2017, man. I mean, we didn't get back to our rooms until after 1:30 in the morning. Brian Spielman and I had to get all the gear together. We had to get on an early flight out before 9 a.m. We got no sleep and I had to work that Monday. And I'm sitting there all day like this, just bobbing and weaving, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mr. Brooks, get ready.
We were both sitting there. We were on the same flight.
Yeah.
We were on the same flight. My flight leaves AZ at 6 a.m.
on Monday.
Ooh.
Yes.
So at Jacksonville, we had to carry our equipment a mile from where the breakdown was of where our set was back to the cars. Then by the time we got back to our room, Michael Barkan and I, we were in the same hotel. It was literally, I think it was 5:15 by the time we got home. And I think we had an 8:00 flight. So I slept for 15 minutes, packed, and we were off to the airport. We had a driver pick us up. And we did Daily News Live the next day. We did all the shows the next day. Just keep cranking, man.
Oh yeah. So get ready, Brooks. You're gonna have a long one on Monday. You're gonna earn your money on Monday.
Yes, sir. Yes, you will. Okay. Big William wants Barkane on. I'll talk to him. I'll see him. When's he going? Barrett with you on tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay.
Leaves tomorrow.
Let's see if we can make that happen once they get down there, when the guys get down there to Arizona. All right. Let's you see any other questions you guys wanted off of there? If anybody else has any, if not, we'll jump into the first case.
I saw a couple good ones there.
Fire them off because I can't see them.
Why does D-Gun continue to throw that menu out, knowing that his two other compadres won't have that type of meal?
Where's that question? Where's that? Did you just make that up?
It's not okay.
That's a question from Barrett. He's allowed to ask a question.
Oh, okay. Well, you want me to give you a very educated answer? Number one, because it's sour grapes on your part. Number two, because you mocked me in a commercial spot that I had no say-so in. And number three, whenever you get the chance, you rub it in also, which you will do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm sure. So I'm getting my shots in now while I'm back here glowing about the fact that it's going to be close to 60 degrees on Friday compared to you being in 80-degree, warm, dry Arizona weather over the weekend. So, yes, I am getting my shots in now. Thank you very much.
There you go. There you go.
Well, you know, I'm not, like I say, I'm not really a big Arizona fan because, like I said, I want water where I want to go, where warmth is.
They got water.
That's desert I'm going to, bro.
They got water. They
It's
got
not a
beautiful
lot.
lakes. Dude, I should send you some of the pictures. A friend of ours from high school, me and my brother, he lives out there, has his own businesses, has a nice boat. And they not only have beautiful lakes, the lakes are made through these canyons. And these mountain canyons are high up. And you go through certain parts of the lake, it's almost like you can almost touch land with your hand reaching out of his boat. And you look and they'll say, hey, look, you'll see a family of beautiful bighorn sheep coming down to the edge of the water to take a drink. That's a beautiful scene right there.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I've got all these pictures and stuff from trips I've taken out. Dude, the lakes are unbelievable. And the bass, you can see them under the water, Barrett. Look like small logs. They're so big.
Wow.
Yeah,
and I never fish. He's not a fisherman, so he doesn't have any gear. And I'm like, if I had a blasting cap right now, boy, just
that's cheating, man. That's cheating.
I just want to stun him and hold it up and put him back in the water and let him live. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
No, I hear you. Hey, let me give you this.
I'm gonna bring my telescope rod.
This was Bill Belichick talking about Tom Brady. Now, we know that it seemed like there might have been some some hard feelings the last couple of years, and with Brady going to Tampa and all that. But Belichick really singing his praises, man. He was asked on Tom Brady's podcast what he saw in the quarterback that others didn't see. Okay. So this is Belichick on Brady. Tom talks about how much I taught him in those meetings, but I learned so much from Tom because I never played quarterback and I never saw the game through the quarterback's eyes. I saw it through a coach's eyes. And what Tom would tell me that he saw and how he saw it, it was incredible how during the game he'd come off and I'd say, all right, what happened on that play? And he'd go through 8 things that happened on just one play.
Wow.
Tackle flashed in front of me. The guy slipped. I saw the linebacker go wide. The safety was a little bit deeper than I would be. Then this guy stepped in front and I kind of put a little bit behind him because I saw the other guy closing. And then you go back and look at the film and every one of those things happened in the exact sequence that he explained it on the field coming off. I'm like, this guy sees everything. He sees the rush, the routes, the coverages, the depths. He sees a lot of things pre-snap. When we had the meetings that Tom referred to, he would go over fundamentals. We'd go over game plans, situational football, watch other teams play situations. And I remember so many situations that came up in games where Tom would refer back to, yeah, that's what we talked about a few weeks ago when we watched Detroit or the Atlanta game. You know, basically just going through how this guy is almost savant-like in what he's seeing on the field. This is where people don't understand how hard that position is. You got to be processing like 1,000 things at one time. It's not just, hey, drop back, and this is what the called play is. There's a lot going on there. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Hey, Rob, here's another good question from Eric R. Does Jason Kelsey give a second Mummer speech?
Oh, good question, man. You know what? I think he does.
It might be a swan song speech, too.
I think he does. Here's why. I think Brandon Ayuk's going to get it. I think Julian Love's going to get it. I think Nick Wright's going to get it. I think, yes. I think there are a lot of candidates. Last time it was Mike Lombardi, and it was, a bunch of unnamed people. Howie Roseman. Yeah, I think so. Lane can't stay off the juice. Everything that he said. during that last time. I think so. Yeah, I do. All right, Christy has a question. There we go. That's why Brady is the GOAT. Turquoise white horns, and I can't stand him, but I have to give him his props. By the way, what was he doing? Was it yesterday where he posted that picture in his boxer briefs?
Yeah. What was that?
I don't know. It was
who's this?
Brady.
Hey man, he's retired. He can do whatever he wants to do now.
Yeah, he can, but it's kind of weird.
You can, just doesn't mean you should.
Yes,
true.
That's I was always told that.
Very true. I think John's going to be right on this one. Maybe not a mummer's costume, but he's dressed as Fat Batman. That very well could happen.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that could happen. All right. Let's do some birthdays, and then we'll get it back to the game itself. Javon Hargrave's 30 years old today. So he'll be celebrating, hopefully, with the Super Bowl and then a lot of money in the offseason. Love to see him back, but that one's good. That one might be tough. So he's 30. Chris Rock, 58 years old. He hasn't said anything, has he, publicly regarding the Will Smith thing?
No, it's been low key. Doesn't want to talk to Will. Has been very low key about it. He said at the appropriate time he will talk to Will, but has not stepped to the forefront yet. That's an embarrassing moment when you're a high profile figure like that, and somebody, not just on national TV, on global TV, gets slapped in the face like that by somebody. That's an embarrassing moment. Now, he could have lashed out. The thing is, he could have lashed out, and as popular as Will Smith is, multitudes would have taken Chris Rock's side in that situation. Mm-hmm. And he didn't. He's refrained. And he said he will address it at the appropriate time. So, yeah,
I think he's handled it as well as you could possibly handle it. Like, he could have just blasted, and he didn't.
Yeah.
So I give Rock a lot of credit there. Garth Brooks is 61 years old today. James Spader, who was the bad guy in pretty much every 80s John Hughes movie that was ever made, is 63 today. Ashton Kutcher is 45 today. Mr. Mila Kunis. Charles Dickens, the writer and author, was born this day, 1812. Matthew Stafford,
dude, man.
Dickens.
Yeah,
some heavy stuff Dickens wrote.
Yeah,
it's for real.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford is 35 today. See what his future holds there with the Rams. So they'll run it back with him next year. Steve Nash is 49 today. He's laughing as the Kyrie stuff continues to unfold.
Right.
Isaiah Thomas, not the older Isaiah Thomas, the younger Isaiah Thomas is 34 years old, who played in the NBA.
That dude was 5'9".
Yeah.
He was only 5'9". That's unbelievable.
Yeah. He had a couple just spectacular years.
Yeah, two-time All-Star.
Yeah, he got hurt. He had a hip injury, and he was never the same after that. Pete Postlewaite, who was an excellent actor, passed away a few years back, 10 years back.
He's in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, he's in The Town with Ben Affleck. He plays the
he's in the Kaiser Sose movie.
Yeah, he's a great actor. He plays the if you ever get a chance in The Town, watch the scene. Yep. He's a florist. He goes off on Ben Affleck. He's really good in that. Juwan Howard, Michigan head coach, 50 years today. 5-0 for Juwan.
Fab
5-0 today for those guys. I guess they're all going to be turning 50. That's all I got. Birthdays. What do you guys have?
I'll let you go, Mr. Brooks, first, if you like.
I got Desmond. Remember Desmond Doss, that that soldier during World War II in Okinawa? He saved 75 people. He didn't want to touch guns, and they kind of,
the movie's
bad about him.
Yeah,
Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah. That was a great movie, wasn't it?
Awesome,
incredible, great movie.
He stood on his religious beliefs.
So he passed away. He passed away though. But you already said Garth Brooks, right?
Yeah.
All right, but then you have Shadir Sanders.
Deion's son. Quarterback.
Yeah, he turns 21. Quarterback turns 21.
Colorado. Yep.
And model Jeremy Meeks. He got famous because he was in jail for He was in jail for like armed robbery or something like that, and they showed his mugshot, and every woman in the world fell in love with him. And he became an actor and model after that. After they saw his mugshot from being in jail. He was in jail when he got off. He got like he said he got like thousands of women proposing to him while he's in jail, doing his bid because of his mugshot.
Mm-hmm. Unbelievable. Gunner, you got any?
Yeah, you have Deborah Ann Wall, who's 38. She was in a Daredevil series, The Punisher, True Blood series. Edie Izzard played in Ocean's 12 and the Cars 2 movie, 61. Robin Lively from Doogie Howser and all the Karate Kid movies, 51. Laura Ingalls Wilder, who wrote the series.
Oh, Little House on the Prairie.
Yes, and the TV series was basically loosed on her actual life. And when you read her story, her family moved to so many different states throughout her childhood. It's unbelievable. Oh. She was originally from some small town in Wisconsin. I never heard of Poppin, Wisconsin. And they moved all over the place, and she told her stories as she went along. And she wrote the series between 1932 and 1943, and then of course the actual series, TV series, with Michael Landon surfaced later on. You got Steven Stamkos, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Lightning center, 33. John Deere, who invented the John Deere tractors and all that. Buster Crabbe, the original Tarzan. Buster Crabbe. Let's see who else we got here. We got Aaron Eckbald, who plays for the Florida Panthers defenseman.
Okay.
Eddie Bracken, who played National Lampoon Vacation, Home Alone 2, and Baby's Day Out, 87. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Before he passed away. Morris Claiborne, cornerback, played for 3 teams and was a Super Bowl champion in the NFL. Dan Quisenberry, former pitcher. The submarine pitcher, yeah.
Kansas City Royals.
Yep. 45.
Okay.
Taylor Mays played for 6 different NFL teams, a safety. It's 35.
Yep.
And how about this name? One of the best that ever played, Robert Brazil, was a linebacker. Remember Houston. When he played with Houston? Yeah. 7-time Pro Bowler, was the Defensive Rookie of the Year, 1975.
Great player.
He's 70 years old today.
Yeah, that guy was a great player, man. Underrated in the history of the NFL.
Straight up ball. He was on the All-70s decade team also.
He deserved it for sure.
I got 2 more too.
Okay, go ahead.
I got 2 more.
Yeah.
Pierre Gasly. He's a race car driver for F1 racing. He's with Alpha Tauri. He's 27, a French guy. And then Kid Capri. It's 56. Everybody knows Kid Capri. Yeah, that's my last.
Not a kid anymore. Yeah,
you can't call him kid anymore now.
Right.
That's crazy, man.
No, you can't do that.
So Aaron Rodgers was asked, what the process is for him in terms of what's next on the Pat McAfee show. He said, quote, "I'm still in the art of contemplation about my future. After my isolation retreat, I'll be ready to make a decision." Can you does he always have to be that guy?
After he comes back from the Amazon, is he with the natives?
His isolation retreat.
You know what that means? You know what that means, right?
Some of that
peyote, baby.
Puff, puff, pass.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that means.
Yep. Some Pineapple Express. All right. Movies. The Lego movie came out this day in 2014. Deliver Us from Eva in 2003.
That's with LL in that.
LL, yep. He's just how to what is it? Lose a Guy in 10 Days. That was McConaughey and I think Kate Hudson. Not super selections here. What, you guys got anything?
Oh, Blazing Saddles, 1974.
Oh, man.
That's my pop's favorite.
I love that
That's
movie.
a big one. That is a big one right there.
I love that one. And then Birds of Prey, 2020. I think that was from the trilogy of the Suicide Squad, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. That's what's her name? That
Margot. What's her name?
I forget.
Margot Robbie.
Rob?
Yes.
Is she strong?
Very
strong.
She is strong squared. She's uber strong. She's Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime strong. It doesn't get much stronger. All right.
You like to amp him up, man. Why
No, that's a 1 seed right there.
Well, I just had to throw it out there for conversation.
Yeah, that one. That's
oh my goodness,
that's a different deal right there.
Her character, man, her character. That's the strongness of it.
She's a good actress. I'll give her this. Like she will do a variety. Like she doesn't get stereotyped. She does a lot of different. She's willing to take some risks in her career. I will for sure.
I'll tell you, her best role to me is the one she played with Will Smith when they were betters. He bet.
Yeah, that was good.
What was that movie? He was in the press box at a football game and told the guy pick a number on one of the players, and then he asked her to pick the number, and she picks the number, and he goes through how he basically subjectively got these people thinking about that number 55.
Now I gotta find it. Yeah,
I can't think of the name of that movie. It's a great movie. Great movie. I've watched it a couple of times. Oh my God, what the heck is the name of the movie?
I know.
Come on, Rob, help me out here.
It's not Thief. No, it wasn't called Thief. What the hell was it called?
It was her and Will Smith.
Yeah.
Well, all I know, I love her as Harley Quinn.
That's Suicide Squad. Yeah. Oh, it was.
I love her as Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Focus.
I just saw it.
That's it.
Yep.
Thank you, John Dickerson. One of the few times I will. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate you guys. All right, we got to roll. We got to get out of here. We want to thank Xander Krause producing the program. We want to thank everybody in the chat section, everybody streaming, everybody listening. We got Dan Cilio coming up. He's got the National Football Show for you. We keep it rolling here with the build up to Super Bowl 57 tomorrow. Guests from Arizona each and every single day. We're looking forward. Barrett, you're on the road tomorrow, and you're with us Thursday and Friday from the desert, man. So we're looking forward to it. Have fun out there, brother.
I don't want to see no dang sunshine pictures from you either. I don't want to see no
sunshine pictures of White Castle.
That's
on
it.
The way.
All right, we got to roll. That'll do it for us. For Derek, for Barrett, I'm Rob. We are Sports Take. Thanks for hanging out. Let's see you tomorrow, same time.
Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.